Check 1 2.
Checking it out.
In the studio with the man Taylor himself. Straight out of SF. Rode his bike some miles to get down here. How far did you ride to get down here?
Damn, I don't know. Can I say damn?
You can say whatever you want. Dude.
Okay, cool. Right on. Just gotta make sure set the parameters here.
No, yeah, this isn't like public television.
We're not getting demonetized.
No, I'm not even monetized, so don't even worry about that.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I caught a ride for a good portion of the way down to like San Luis Obispo area. So I've actually rode my bike from there. I don't know. It's like probably less than 200 miles, but significantly more than just 100. I mean, yeah, probably 150, 170 miles, I think.
Still a lot,
in a couple of days. Yeah. Blew my knees out. My back is sore. But it was worth it, you know, as what you got to do when you're...
So just to give everyone some background, like you are from the Bay Area. You're from San Jose, right? Like,
yeah.
Or around that area.
Around that area.
And I met you in SF when I used to live up there, and you were doing music stuff, and then you started doing bike stuff, bike messenger stuff. So, and now you rode your bike some of the way down to LA, and you're going to continue to ride.
Going to San Diego, yeah.
That's cool. That's
and I'm
rad.
carrying a guitar on my back the whole way, so I'm doing music stuff along the way as well.
Oh, cool. Like what kind of music stuff? Like,
just I got the acoustic guitar, you know, just playing songs at the beach and stuff like that, you know, nothing crazy. And I don't have any gigs lined up. It's not like I'm on tour or anything.
Putting your hat out on the sidewalk?
Not really.
No.
I'm not really too into busking. I just I don't know. I haven't been doing a whole lot of public performance really. I haven't even been gigging out a lot. I've just been spending a lot of time in my studio recording. I've been recording a solo album that I do all the instrumentation for, you know, drums and piano and guitar,
cool.
bass, vocals, sax, and hand percussion, all that kind of fun stuff. And then I have bands that I practice with, but we haven't really been gigging. I don't know. I just haven't really been interested in being out there in the public eye. I do enjoy music, though, so that's why I brought the guitar with me, and I kind of try to find a nice secluded place where I can play my songs for myself and just sort of vibe out, you know?
That's rad. Yeah, we've been chatting about a million things since you came down here to hang out. Anywhere from recent events that have happened to you, recent events that have happened to me, the state of the this state or whatever. Like
sure.
like how are we doing economically and problems that we're facing all like. Even as individuals, everyone's kind of feeling the pressure kind of thing, you know. And then we're talking a little bit about. Well, first of all, you were the ex-president, or you were president of the SFBMA, the San Francisco Bicycle Messenger Association, right?
That's right.
And we did a lot of stuff up there when I had the bike shop, cool races, and try to participate with the community as much as possible. So, but you recently had like a falling out with like that situation,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So maybe we'll just dive right into the juicy stuff, and you can kind of break down exactly what happened. But, you know, just so everyone knows, the SFBMA is an association, an official association formed by the messengers in San Francisco. It's been going on for years, since the early 90s.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's kind of a way for them to get together and have events and be recognized as a community on the global platform of bike messengery as a type of work, right?
Sure, yeah.
So
totally.
there's like New York, there's SF, there's some of it is in LA, like all over the world.
Madrid,
right?
Yeah, all over the world. Tokyo, Mexico City. There's, you know,
Yeah.
It's huge. It's a huge organization. Not the BMA in particular, the SFBMA in particular. They're their own entity within this network of, you know, hundreds of other BMAs all over the globe. So a lot of people know each other within the local area. I mean, I know you from Los Angeles area, and there's a lot of play back and forth. You know, people come up to San Francisco for races, and people come down to LA for races and events and things like that. Got a lot of Bostonians too, actually. Shitload of people from Boston that are my messengers in San Francisco now. I don't know what draws people from there, but as far as like people coming from other areas, I find that it's a lot of Bostonians that are over there for whatever reason.
Something's wrong with Boston. They're just fleeing.
Yeah.
Dude. So yeah, so that's what the bike messenger community is kind of like for those that don't know. But someone is already saying, what are our thoughts on the coronavirus? Jesus Christ. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. Relax. Yeah. We're talking about bike messenger here. Hello. No, we were saying that, that's kind of what it is. And you, when I first met you, funny enough, you're not the only person that I met while working at a bike shop in SF. Like, a lot of people were just like, like, hey, who's that guy? And like, we just hung out, you know what I mean? Like, you're one of those people, like, that just came in the shop with your bike to have it fixed. And then I was like, well, you do music? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, this, and then meet up afterwards, do other things, And next thing you know, bikes became like a large part of your life, like I would never have expected that, So now you went full in on the bike messenger stuff, on riding your bike every day, like, like the bike life.
Yeah.
The bike life. So you did that. But, it's funny, like, watching people like evolve, over time, like even myself, even other friends that I met up in SF. But so you like riding you like working, riding your bike, delivering stuff. Then you decided, okay, I'm going to try to be part of this culture. And then how did you campaign to be president of the SFBMA?
Well, it wasn't really tough because the dude who was president before me, I mean, they only serve 1-year terms. It's just a volunteer-based position, like, democratically elected by the group. And up until that point, I mean, back in the past, I when there was more members, back in the 90s, early 2000s, when the organization was much larger, they had different parameters on how you would become president. They would have like a ballot box downtown, and people would come up through during the day and drop their little ballot in the box. And there was more members, there was more activity going on. But when I kind of came into the scene, there was just not a whole lot going on. The meetings would have only a handful of people, usually less than 10, no more than 15, per month of people coming to these meetings. Of course, there was a lot more bike messengers out on the road working and stuff. Not in the same numbers as like pre fax machine days, obviously, but there were still people out there.
But the sense of community was kind of like breaking off, right? It seemed like it was kind of on a decline, at least when I saw it. Like, people were working on bikes and people were doing stuff, but there wasn't like communal stuff happening, like parties and bike rides. Or I mean, there's yearly rides and stuff like that and races, but it wasn't like people weren't getting hyped about it.
Right.
I kind of attribute a lot of the buildup of the SFBMA to you being the president and kind of whipping it up to make it fluffy what it is now.
In the modern era, yeah, for sure. I mean,
especially with the internet, dude. Like they were very inactive. Like, their website was hella old and didn't really have any, like, you know what I mean? Like, now there's like an Instagram. Now it got modern. Other people that weren't familiar with the SFBMA, all of a sudden it attracted a lot of attention. People like Rossi, the 415 King. It's very popular. Like, people go on his Instagram, they're always looking at it. Slumworm, like all these riders that ride in SF, not just bike messengers, but like Fixie Kids, like everyone.
People in the scene,
people in the scene.
The bike game is huge, because there's like BMXers too, Fixie Goons,
skaters and shit, thrasher shit,
all
kinds of stuff going on. But it's kind of cool to see it actually gather like the attention that it required. You know what I mean? Where before you were president, I felt like it was kind of like it was there, but it was kind of like old cats, like kind of neglecting it, what I mean?
Yeah. They were kind of, I mean, I don't want to talk trash about anyone, but they kind of had a sort of elitist attitude, like, oh, it's always been like this, and so we're going to continue to do it like this. And many of the old heads kind of had a bad attitude towards, the more modern things that were happening out there on the streets, but people working on bikes, like people that were in the app world, Caviar, Uber Eats and stuff like that. Some of the older guys, I don't want to say all the older guys, but a lot of the, the older guys that were, from, late 90s, early 2000s, and then we're still out there on the road and stuff. They kind of like, like, oh, that's not real bike messenger work, and they would kind of poo-poo on these guys. And
on all the Caviar dudes, the DoorDash guys.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you call
it?
The
gig workers.
The gig economy.
Yeah. The gig workers. Because they thought, food is not a message, a messenger carries a message, but there's just not a whole lot of that work going on, like the legal stuff has gone way downhill with e-filing, and the invention of the fax machine killed a lot of the ability of people to carry messages around, because now they can just email, so there was not a whole lot of so today there's not a whole lot of messages being passed around. It's like, when I was working for King Courier, and we didn't do a lot of like paperwork. I mean, we were doing like moving cash around. Like that was one of the things we were doing. Picking up bank deposits, personal items, like rich people would like order something from a shop downtown, and you go pick it up for them, bring it up to Nob Hill or whatever. I carried a $66,000 suit from Alexander McQueen one time. I showed up on my bike, and I'm all like greasy faced, and the girl's like, "Are you sure you can carry this?" It's like, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm a professional." Sir? Yeah.
And put your fingerprint here, real quick.
Yeah, exactly. But she was looking at me crazy. She's like, "Dude, this is more expensive than your whole life, like what the hell?"
Yeah.
But I'm like, "Dude, I got it. I'm bonded. I have like my little courier ID that says, I'm bonded and insured and everything. Like, I'm not gonna fuck your shit up. And if I do accidentally, my company's got insurance that will totally cover it. So
cover it, yeah.
Because I'm not just like some random dude on the street that you like, hey, come here. Hey, I'll give you $20 if you take this over. It's not like that. It's like a real job. So, but like I said, that we're not carrying around like messages per se. It's like personal items.
The only stuff left now is probably like things that are time sensitive, like documents for court,
medical shit,
like
dude. I used to carry a lot of medical supplies too and from the hospital and like the clinics, right? They scrape a little cancer sample off of the top of somebody's brain, and it's like, hey, take this down to the biopsy lab. We got this dude with his head cut open on the operating table. I need you to get it there in a half an hour so they can look at it under the microscope and tell us what the hell's going on over here. So, I'm like, all right, cool. Throw it on my back, dive in traffic, bomb the hill, bring it to the lab, and, call the dude. He runs out, grabs it from me. Comes in like one of these little igloo lunch boxes, packed with dry ice.
Hey, have you ever seen a Death Race? When Mr. Bean drops the heart that they were trying to deliver, so he hitches a ride with a medical guy.
Yeah.
He has a heart that they're going to go give to a donor.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bean's fucking with the heart, and it flies out the window.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that. They're punching it, yeah. That's you, dude.
Yeah.
As a bike messenger.
Yeah, totally. I was like, flicked it. He like flicks the little lid off,
Dude, so it's interesting to kind of know, like, for people that don't know what bike messenger work is, like, it's a little bit of everything. But as far as the bike community goes, it overlaps as well. Mm-hmm. Like, you got the fixie kids who also want to be bike messengers and couriers and shit, right?
Yeah.
And they do it out of, like, I'm going to describe it as, like, kind of like a love, like, romanticized idea of what it is to be a bike messenger, because they watch like Premium Rush too many times. You know what I mean? So they want to be like, yeah, I'm a bike messenger, and they want to like be part of that life. And I get that, I'm not hating on that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just saying that it mixes over. Like, we get a lot of people who do that kind of stuff who also kind of participate in doing bike messenger shit. Then we have people like bike polo players, people who play bike polo.
Oh yeah,
are also heavily involved with the.
We got some national champions in San Francisco that are bike messengers and polo players.
And polo players. There's mountain bikers. There's all kinds of people. There's people that are bike mechanics like me who just work on bikes. There's people that are in the industry. Mm-hmm. There's it's all bike related. Bikes are the thing that hold that whole deal together though. Without the bike, it would just fall apart. Like, everyone would be doing different things.
There's too many random people doing that are totally different.
Totally different things. Yeah, you could be from Oakland, or you could be an SF native, or you could be someone from the Midwest that moved to California or whatever. And
if you ride a bike, you're cool.
If you ride a bike, we're all the same. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of like some of the things that I wanted to describe the coalition as, so people could kind of understand what this is like, so that then you can explain to us kind of like how this went sour for you. Like,
sure.
So it starts off good. We're doing all this stuff, right? But then I moved down here recently in the last year, and this is when this happened to you. So maybe kind of just tell us the story of like what happened with you in regards to the SFBMA.
Sure. So, like we were saying before, the BMA was sort of tapering off. When I came into the scene, I kind of, I'm a pretty friendly guy. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm a pretty friendly guy. I get along with a lot of people, and it was really easy for me to ingratiate myself into the community, especially in the Bay Area. I feel like people are a little bit nicer or a little bit more accepting of other people. So I was able to slide in real easily and build a lot of friendships, and I kind of rose to the top in a relatively short time. I became the president, and having a background in like the music scene, right, organizing concerts and shows, and like getting bands together and all this kind of thing. I started already had the framework of how to organize an association like this, right? So I was throwing events and races and planning things, and people loved it, because what they want to do is they want to get together. They want a reason to get together and drink with their friends, and maybe they get a prize at the end of it or whatever, and see a cool rock concert and all that. So I was doing that for everybody. Everybody was really loving it, and I did that for about a whole year, and I was in charge of the SFBMA Instagram account, because that was, like we were saying, it's kind of coming into the modern era. So, I was using it basically for like three things. It was, stolen bike postings. Like if somebody got their bike stolen, you throw up a picture of the bike last seen at, 4th and Harrison or whatever, and
we
put
have
the APB out. So.
We have like, here, I'll just pull it up so people can get an idea since we're talking about it. What it looks like. So here's the SFBMA Instagram. So we'll scroll all the way down to stuff that you were doing. So
that's one of our events right there. That's that big old group of people. That's from the holiday toy drive. Let's see, what year was that? 59 weeks ago. Yeah, it was like not this last one that just happened, but the year before.
Yeah, dude, and I noticed like even other bands like Goktus are like friends of yours who participated a lot in bicycle related stuff. They even played a show at the shop that I used to own when we did that whole 420 bike party thing.
Yeah, that was a good time.
You've always had connections with music people, people who were in the neighborhood doing stuff. Other bike shops, Box Dog. You did Quake City Rumble. A lot of stuff, a lot of events. So it's kind of interesting to see, like, how can you be such a big part of something and have contributed the major part of most of these deals here, Like, I was here for this gold sprint here.
Yeah.
At
versus Ferg.
Yeah, at Zeitgeist. Shout out to the dudes at Zeitgeist. Those guys are cool.
Yeah, they were great. I lived there above the bar for a while too, and that was due to my connections with the bike community, because they were on board with the bike messengers, and they love me over there.
Yeah, see QCR. This is how many events happen out there. The Slow Squad Fart Race.
Yeah. This is a bunch of stuff that I had a hand in setting up. The Oakland Grand Prix, I helped set that up. I mean, I didn't set up the Oakland Grand Prix, but I was in charge of the organization when we did that event.
When you participated, yeah.
Because I had been doing events, and then larger events started asking us to come participate with them, right? Because I was just throwing my own stuff, right? Just like, let's get together at the park, right? And you put it out on Instagram, throw the flyer up, right? And then like Mission Crit, came at us and said, hey, we want you guys at our event. Oakland Grand Prix said, hey, we want you guys at our event. Pedal Fest in Oakland said, hey, we want you guys at our event. So we were getting asked to participate in all these events, and that was due to the fact that I was already throwing our own events, right? That were, advertisements were getting out for these. And
right.
People within the larger cycling community of the greater Bay Area started to take notice of that and started to pull us into the fold. So we were able to build our influence within the greater cycling community.
Right. Yeah, and like you can see it here. Like, here you tagged the old bike shop, Fusion Workshop, MASH SF. I've raced in this one, I believe, right? In this Dash for Cash race.
Yeah. That
so
was
we did all these races, parties, hanging out.
There's young Kyle.
Young Kyle chilling at one post where everyone hangs out.
It's dead now, unfortunately. Hey, there's me.
That's you. So what's wrong with one post now?
One post is it's under construction, right? So they boarded it all up, they covered it all up, and you can't get in there anymore. And what I've heard is that they're going to turn it into like some sort of like garden type of lunchtime spot for the people that are up at Millennium Tower.
It was full of bums and crazy people though. Yeah, like on a regular basis.
I mean, I feel like building security. Okay, well, first of all, the building owners and building management did not like us because, you know, we're just smoking blunts and drinking beers and doing all kind of wild shit in front of their establishment. But the actual building security loved us because we sort of regulated the spot, you know, like in terms of when crazy crackheads and weirdos would come up, we would bounce them, you know, because a lot of these old heads, they don't give a fuck, dude. They'll just, they don't like what you're doing, you know, they just tell you to get the hell out of there, you know. So, and that makes the job easier on building security. So we got rid of most of the real riffraff, and, you know, all they got to do is just come around every once in a while and be like, hey, you know, like, don't throw your butts on the ground, put them in the trash, you know. And so they were into us. The building security was anyway.
So let me ask you, since you've departed the SFBMA, you say, well, one post is kind of like, you know, falling off due to construction and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
But what about so before you tell us what is wrong with the SFBMA now, tell us what went wrong. Because we're still building up to
talking about that whole thing. Yeah, sure. Okay, so anyway, now we've got some framework of what I was doing for the BMA, and, you know, people were appreciative of it. Basically, the whole event in question that sort of got me away from the BMA, or, you know, that sort of facilitated my split from the BMA, goes back to an event that happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So like we were talking about earlier, a lot of the bike messenger communities of these major metropolitan areas know and are friends on social media with bike messengers from other major metropolitan areas, right? So a lot of the cats from Minneapolis know a lot of the cats from San Francisco, you know, New York cats know us, LA, you know, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's all connected, right? So when something happens in one, you know, isolated area, right, via social media, it sort of explodes all over the place, right? So there was an event that occurred in Minneapolis that was a alleged sexual assault from one bike messenger against another bike messenger. The victim of the alleged attack was a non-binary they/them person. And
well, let's so all right, so in another completely different state,
mm-hmm.
right? Somebody accosted another person sexually, allegedly. Let's get that right. And this person was a bike messenger, but so was the victim. Is that right?
I believe that. I mean, the alleged perpetrator for sure was a bike messenger, and I had somewhat of a high standing within their organization over there.
Okay.
Because at the same time, the reason that the scandal was so large is because they were getting ready to throw NAC, which is the North American Cycle Courier Championships, in Minneapolis. They had been preparing this for probably the last 10 years or so, and they finally won the bid to have the event in their town, in their city. And so when this story broke, it became a huge deal. Everyone all over the country was like, oh, we're going to boycott NAC. It's unsafe. You know, you can't go there.
Right. So kind of explain that particular situation then, like between this alleged, you know, accusation against one of these messengers who, you know, could not have done what he's being accused of, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how does that relate to you? What happened? How did it come to you?
So, like I was saying, I was in control of the San Francisco Bike Messenger Association Instagram account, and I didn't finish my thought earlier. I was saying we do stolen bike postings. We were doing event flyers, right? You know, we got a race this Friday, ends at a rock show at the bar down the street, come out. And then also, you know, just bike porn, you know, cool shots of bike messengers doing their thing downtown, pulling skids or hitting curbs or, you know, just being goofy, whatever, you know, like pictures of the community to just like, oh, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, to hype it up. Yeah.
Hype it up, right? Exactly. Just to, you know, give people something to, you know, to look at, right? Because we're not trying to do anything crazy. I never was trying to take sides on any type of political issue, or especially this thing where it was, there was an ongoing police case. Had taken done the rape kit and everything. It was all, they were doing it by the books, right, to take care of this situation legally and legitimately. And
when that's happening, you can't have an opinion, really. It would be kind of wrong to have one, because you can't really take sides on something that isn't set in stone. You know what I mean? If no one has been found guilty of anything, if you take a side based on that, then that's problematic, right? Because you're doing it off of hearsay or no actual evidence, right? So I understand what you mean by that was a legal issue, that you should probably stay out of. So did you try to kind of stay out of it?
Well, yeah, of course I tried to stay out of it, because like I said, that's not anything that, immediately when this story broke, right, the alleged victim, came out on social media and made a very long post about the events that had transpired and their side of the story. And like I said, there was a legal aspect going on, and so the alleged perpetrator had lawyered up, and basically the lawyer said, "Don't say anything." So he was kind of radio silent throughout the whole thing, and people began to say, "Oh, his silence is guilt. We need to hear his side. Blah blah blah." And but this is all going on over there, right? This is all just Instagram chatter, social media, he said, she said, back and forth type of stuff. And like I said before, this is not anything that I really get myself involved with personally, and definitely not with an organization, because that's not something that I think we should have been at the time. We shouldn't be, getting ourselves involved with that. So I was being pressured by people within the organization and some people on the outskirts of the organization, that were just kind of in the scene, so to speak, to come out with a public statement on behalf of the SFBMA about this event, right? Because a lot of other BMAs around the world had been doing so, because it's all interconnected on social media. And at first I was reluctant. At first I was saying, no, we don't need to say anything. This is not really what we do. And more people kept getting on me to make a statement, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to have a meeting this Thursday anyway, or not this Thursday, but back then, we're having a meeting later this week. We can all get together. We can talk about what we want to say, because it seems like everyone wants to make a public statement. So I come to the meeting, and, as the president, I'm sort of facilitating the meeting, right? Hearing different people's sides about what should be included in our message. And I was saying hey, if we want to say something, we can make it, very general, and just say something like the San Francisco Black Messenger Association denounces sexual assault, violence of any kind, perpetrated by anyone against anyone, blanket across the board. It's just deplorable behavior that we do not agree with and we do not condone in our organization. Right. And if it happened here, and we found out that it happened here, we would deal with it swiftly and with legitimate means of justice,
the right way.
Yeah. The right way. So I thought that was good. I mean, I didn't say that exactly. We kind of worked on, I can't remember exactly, something along those lines though, right? And I had a few people in my camp that were on board with that. They're like, all right, that's totally fair, right? That makes total sense. Regardless of what happens in Minneapolis, we can say something that means this is what we actually believe, right?
If you were a corporation, let's just put it this way: if the SFBMA was a corporation and there was money involved, what would these CEOs what stand would they take? Of course, it's going to be the neutral one, Mm-hmm. Of course, they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to hurt my interests. I'm not going to say anything about this. You guys deal with it. That's a he said, she said problem, and that's a personal. It's even a personal issue. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was blown out of proportion. But the whole thing for me is that it's interwoven with a different problem, a cultural problem where there's this whole hashtag believe women, or there's all of this counter men culture, mm-hmm. where if you're a man and you have something to say, it means nothing. But the more oppressive points that you get towards your identity, if you're a short gay, homosexual, black person that's also Jewish, that's also a Muslim. Like, the more of those points you have, the more your voice is valuable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that's you're kind of feeling the pressure of this, like, social, political, like climate.
Yeah.
You know? And it finally affected you in some way where now your hand is being forced to say something about something that you just don't want to participate in, right? And you have to take a side in one way or another, right? So you're saying you were neutral, but then what happened next?
I was attempting to be neutral, yeah, of course, because like I said, that's what I believe. Sexual violence against anyone perpetrated by anyone is wrong, regardless of circumstance, no matter who you are, right? That's just, I think we can all agree with that.
Right, so let me ask you this. Why not throw the guy under the bus immediately? Why not just say, yeah, I'm with her, and that guy's wrong?
Well, because we didn't know. I wasn't there. It's all Instagram, he said, she said.
But
so
did everyone else, is that their point of view?
Well, the problem is, I mean, maybe it's not a problem. It depends on who you ask, but the alleged victim identified as a non-binary they/them person, right?
Which, can I ask, what is this said person's actual biological,
if I were to assume, I don't know, I mean, I would assume that this person was biologically female if I had to put a guess, but it's a really touchy subject. I can't,
no, that's fine.
Even by saying that, people are going to jump down my throat.
So let's just say that this person is a biological female, based on obvious biological characteristics that you can, make a judgment on.
Yes.
Right. So we can say that this person was a biological female, and this is the person that you got in an argument with in regards to this subject, right?
Well, I didn't get in an argument with her, no, because she's in Minneapolis. They're in Minneapolis, right? Okay. So that was one of the factors of why people were taking their side, because they're part of this victim class, this oppressed class of non-binary folk. So they had to be believed. Part of the, like you're saying, the whole believe all women, it's that category of women is being expanded to now queer folk, trans folk. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't believe them. And when crimes are actually perpetrated against them, we want to exercise justice to the full extent of the law.
Yeah, based on facts.
Without
reasonable doubt.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this is all just Instagram stuff going on, and I was not there. No one was there. It's just somebody posted some stuff on social media. So we don't know. We didn't know anything.
So let me.
There was no facts, basically.
Okay,
there was no facts.
Let me clarify this just real quick, so that so even our listeners kind of know. So this person who was allegedly, accosted, who by a male bike man. The other perpetrator is a male, right?
Yes.
Male bike messenger.
He's not trying to hide anything.
Okay. He's a male. And this non-binary they/them person is potentially a biological female.
Yes.
But she dates men.
Yes, she's married. They are married to a biological man.
Okay. So, and then, I see. So, wait. So, this person is married to a biological man.
Precisely.
But then still wants to be described as they/them.
Yes.
So she's not,
which is not uncommon. I know other people that are in that same situation.
Okay, but what was she doing with another dude? How did that situation occur?
Well, that I cannot say. I'm not that person. But I wasn't there. I don't know what they're thinking.
Because it's not like she was kidnapped and dragged to some place. You know what I mean?
The basically in her statement that they put out, they were at a bar drinking. They went back to her place, got into bed, and then that's when he forced himself upon her.
But they've already been out drinking and they've already gone to bed together.
Yes.
Come on, dog. and then she's gonna. So, oh my God. See, this is a problem, dude. How you gonna just go like 99% of the way, and then when the dude like goes with the 1% more, which is assumed is gonna happen at this point, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, it's rape. I've been raped. Like, nah, you have regret. You have dick regret. Like, stop lying. You know what I mean? But This is my personal opinion. I'm not shedding any light on anything how you feel. This is how I feel
totally,
about
man.
the situation,
Yeah,
you know? Like, it just seems unfair to me that this person's being accused of rape. Like, if I was going to take any sides, I would take a neutral side as well. Because it's like, she could have been accosted, of course.
Yeah.
You know, dude could have done something very stupid.
Uh-huh.
You know, like try to forcibly have sex with this girl. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
A high one, too. But the more likely scenario is that she led him on and on and on and on, and then realized, hey, actually, I'm married. Like, what am I doing? You know, and tries to pull out like at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you use common sense and you build a proper argument against this allegation, right? That this is one of the reasons why it was a legal battle, because it's not a clear cut like, oh, it's dude's fault. You know?
Yeah.
It's not. So we can't really have an opinion on something that's like teeter-tottering on the brink of like, it can be this, it cannot be that. You know?
Yeah.
It's just ethically wrong for us to support either party.
Yeah.
We got to let the authorities take care of that problem, right? But why is it that now the community has obviously taken a side, which is the community took the they them side.
Well, not everybody in the community. That's something that we got to look at. But the people that are most vocal about it are the ones that were wanting to take the side of the alleged victim.
And can I ask something?
Yeah.
Were they trying to use force to punish this or humiliate the other party, the person being accused of committing this crime?
Yeah, totally. Because here's what I'll say about that. So I was attempting to make a very neutral statement on the Instagram page. Like I'd already explained to people that had come to this meeting, because not only did we get a bunch of people at this meeting, but it was a handful of people that never come to any of the meetings, that I had not seen participate in any events or anything that has to do with the SFBMA before. But when this situation unfolded, then they came to the meetings to have their opinion be heard, which is fine. That's all great. You know, like if there's something that's happening within the community affects you in a certain way and you want to come voice your opinion about it, by all means. If you're a bike messenger in the city or Oakland or surrounding areas and you you are part of the scene, so to speak, like by all means, we want to hear your opinion. They are not dues-paying members, but realistically, there's not very many dues-paying members. Like I pay my dues. There's a handful of people that I know do pay their dues, but for the most part, most people don't pay their dues. It's like $50 a year. You get the little membership card. You get discounts at bike shops and stuff like that.
Right.
But a lot of people don't do that. They still come to the meetings. They still come to the events, but they don't actually pay into it, which is probably the fault of myself as the president at that time. I should have, gotten more people involved and hey, you want to see this grow, we got to pay for it so we can have funds to do other things and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, beside that point, so these people were coming in that had not really been participating before, and they were not satisfied with a neutral statement.
You mean they as in a group of people, not not one individual, right?
Yeah, precisely. Yes. There was multiple people there that were not satisfied with a neutral stance. They wanted to use these people's names and some really intense language to, basically.
Can you describe some of this language that they wanted you to use?
I mean, just really hard, rape, that word, you just put that in bold,
and they wanted you to use names.
They wanted me to use names, right? They wanted me to use names and say that this person, I don't want to use names because it's a whole person that we can get into what happened later afterwards. But
illegally, it's not even allowable. You can't accuse someone of rape if it's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know that it was rape,
You can have an opinion, which is what I told people. If you want to say whatever you want to say on your own personal account, by all means, please. You can talk trash about this guy. I can't stop you from doing that.
But you can't use an organization.
But yes, as the organization, we're not, I'm making the call as the person in charge of the organization. We are not taking a stance saying this person is bad and this person is good when we don't know them. They're way over there. I've never met them in my life. None of us have ever met them in our lives but because of that one person's identity, we have to believe them over another person. So
yeah, because her identity is more valuable than that of a white privileged male.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in their eyes.
In their eyes. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, they were not happy with a neutral statement. They wanted to come out and say this person is evil, this person should be believed, and we should stand by this person, and we're going to open up a GoFundMe or whatever, and we're going to donate money to them and help with their legal battle, blah, blah, blah. Stand behind this person, throw this person under the bus. That's what they wanted, right? And I said, I'm not willing to do that with the BMA. And then they started calling me names. I called
So how did they turn it around on you? What did they call you?
I became a rape apologist. I became a transphobe. And then I also became a racist because one of the people arguing with me at the meeting was a person of color.
What?
They were
a Latinx.
A
person?
Latinx. There was a Latinx
Jesus
person.
Christ.
So there was a Latinx person there, non-binary Latinx person. That was very vocal.
This story is unbelievable, bro. It's unbelievable, dude. It's like out of like some terrible YouTube video of like SJW warfare. You know what I mean? It's not good. But okay, so these people. So earlier you were talking to me about that particular situation and how that unfolded. So let's break that down, the physicality of it, because now you got all these people who obviously disagree with you, you know, and you're holding a stance as president.
Sure.
So the first thought they're having is, fuck Taylor as president.
Yeah.
Let's impeach him.
I was asked to step down.
They're trying to Donald Trump you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. So you were asked to step down.
Yeah.
And then, so you're out drinking with these people, right?
Yeah. Well,
you're
we're
having
at the
a
meeting at the bar. We're having beers. You know, I'm getting a little toasted. I mean, we do that at our meetings because usually we don't have anything this intense. It's mostly like, we have a race coming up next month. Like, who's gonna go get prizes? And I'll talk to my buddy at whatever bike shop and let's get beer. Exactly.
But here they were like dropping a gavel and fucking doing the whole deal, right?
Just getting very vocal, very aggressive. And like I'm trying to reason with these people, or at least have a conversation. Say like, okay, I'm willing to concede these points, and I'll go as far as to say this. Now, can you meet me somewhere in the middle? Like you want to say this, and I don't think that's okay.
I'll be honest with you, dude. Like from what it sounds like you didn't want to at first participate at all. And then you ended up being like, okay, well, we'll say something, but we'll try to make it like. And then they were like, no, we want you to say this. And then you're giving them an extra inch every time.
Yeah.
Every time you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we can say something, but let's agree to meet halfway about what we're gonna say. And these people just don't want to. They don't want a reason. They didn't want to compromise at all. It's either you have to do what we say, and this is how it's gonna be. That's it. I mean, that's it. They're like, no, we do not accept. Yeah. We don't accept what you're trying to say. They were saying it's dangerous. It's toxic. Just being neutral. Being neutral is dangerous. Being neutral is toxic. Your ideas are dangerous. They were saying this kind of thing to me. And they're like, oh, you're sounding real transphobic right now. And I'm just like, dude, I don't even know what. Okay. So this kind of thing happens, right? And now, they're pressuring you to exit the SFBMA, right? At some point you do that, right?
Well, so basically, what happened was it's all sort of came to a head at the meeting, right? Where we're kind of going back and forth on this stuff. I'm willing to concede a lot of points, but I'm not completely willing to be trampled, and just be like, okay, I'll do whatever you say, like. I'm not that kind of guy. I stand up for my values and what I believe that the organization that I'm in charge of should be doing, right? That's why I was elected democratically by the organization, right? So when these people come in and they're trying to say, such and such, that I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm in charge and I have the password and you can fuck right off, Like if you want to come to the table and talk to me, I'm down. But if you just want to yell, then I'm just going to tune you out, right? And what ended up happening is... one of the people at the Latinx person, I didn't know that they were Latinx. They were claiming to be a trans person. I had always assumed them to be a female, a girl, because that's how I perceive them, right? And I had never seen transition, so I didn't believe them to be trans. I'd known them for years.
I'm gonna say something just so that it's clear on how I feel about that particular subject, so that you know, and so that my viewers know, that I believe that pronouns are for the people who are describing, for the describee. You know, like you're the person who's describing something. They're your pronouns, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You use them to describe things, and you describe things based on their characteristics. Like, if you see a car and you think it's a Honda, you call it a Honda.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Toyota that someone went and repainted and put a Honda sticker on it, you know? But you think it's a Honda, so you call it a Honda, you know? You can't get mad at the dude because he said it's a Honda when really it's a Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
But like, nah, bro, that's a Toyota, bro. That's rude. Like, nah, my dude, you painted it like a Honda and you put an H on it, bro. What are you talking about, you know?
Yeah.
So pronouns are for those who are describing, you know? And the person being described, they have no right to limit your speech or control it in a way where they want you to say what they want. Mm-hmm. Like, that's crazy.
Well, see,
that's an infringement on freedom of speech.
Yeah, but I mean,
but you still did it anyway.
Well, here's the deal, right? Because I understand that it's for the describee, but I also, you know, growing up in the Bay Area, I believe that, you know, in being, I'm a very empathetic person, and if somebody, I'm like really open and down to, you know, help you out in whatever way you want, right? So when these people come to me and they say, oh, I'm non-binary, you can refer to me as they, them. I'm like, sure, right on. I'll call you whatever you want. If that's what you want to be called, like, I'm willing to, like I said, I'm willing to concede that point. I'll go along with it. If that makes you feel better, I'll call you they, them, you know?
To make things smooth.
To make things smooth. I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes. As long as you're not stepping on my toes. If you say, hey, can you do this for me? It's like, it's not that hard. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'll call you whatever you want. But then this is where, like I said, it's not enough. It was not enough for this person for me to just be somewhat neutral about it. They wanted me to actually believe that they were not a female. I'm like, no, it's like, it's not what I want to be called. It's what I am. I'm not a girl. And I was like, I never said, you know, like, okay. Which at that point I should have just rolled my eyes and said, yeah, whatever. Right. But like I said, I had a few beers in me, and I was really confused by this because up until that point, I had understood the non-binary movement as people wanting to be called a different pronoun than they're biologically assigned at birth, which is totally down. I'm totally down for. Like, I'll call you whatever you want, like I said. But this person was claiming that, no, it's not what I want. It's what I am. That they were literally claiming that they were something else. And you cannot question it. You have to believe it. And
that's their belief.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're now infringing your freedom by trying to force you to believe their ideology.
Yeah. So they were trying to control. They were trying to control my belief system and my understanding of reality, right?
And you just said, "No, I don't believe it."
Yeah, basically, I made an inappropriate comment about their, biological physicality, and it was offensive to them. And that was it, you know. And then I immediately apologized.
You gave them that. It seems like they were fishing.
I think so. They were needling, and they were trying to get me to. That's what it felt like to me as well. If they felt like they were, and I didn't realize at the time because I'm a dumb patriarchal male that's like, ooh, knuckle dragger, go, only good for bopping people on the head and dragging them into caves, you know.
Right.
So I didn't realize at the time that I was being, verbally baited into saying something offensive so that they could use that to paint me as a horrible person and undermine my authority within the organization to get their political agenda across.
And they hashtag impeached you
away. Then I was canceled. I was dragged through the mud. They didn't print, but they typed up like a 5-page essay about all this horrible stuff that I said and did. Most of it was untrue. But as soon as it goes out on the internet, it doesn't matter if it's true or not because it just spreads like wildfire. Oh, he said what? He did that? Oh, he's a racist. He's a transphobe. He's a rape apologist.
The thing is, like, homies should know. Like, if you see some bullshit like if I saw something like that, I would be like, what? Taylor did what? Like, come on, bro. Like, how does everyone fall for something so easily? Yeah. It's because they're also being pressured by these same people.
Yeah. And if you don't say this, then I'm going to say
like Taylor.
Yeah, then I'm going to say it about you too, right?
You were made an example of.
Exactly.
In the cause. And they were like, look, do what we say or we'll just hashtag cancel you and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's good. honestly, that's thug shit. Like, they just thugged you out of your own organization.
Yeah.
And they replace you with someone that I'm gonna assume is more open to
That's just a no backbone, do whatever they say type person, right?
yeah.
You know?
Or maybe even like ideologically aligns
Precisely
with their beliefs.
Yeah. I mean, if they don't get somebody like that, then they will get a spineless person, you know?
Yeah.
So they basically immediately after that, they spread all this disinformation. They dragged my name through the dirt. I went to work trying to like back myself up. Nobody backed me up, you know. I didn't get, you know, of course, like you said, like everybody stepped off. They're like, oh shit, he's getting, you know, cyberbullied, and then like you said, if you speak up, then they go after you too. And so some people did initially try to back me up, and then when they started to feel the heat of the whole thing too, they're like, oh man, sorry dude, you're on your own. Like, it sucks, it's unfortunate, but like, I'm not gonna go down with you, you know.
That's whack.
So there was people that came to me behind the scenes. There was a few people that were like, yo man, I'm on your side, but they didn't like say anything online, right? You know, like, because of that same reason, but they would come to me in private and be like, yo dude, like, this is whack what these people are doing to you. This is totally retarded. I want to tell you that I stand behind you and I'll vote for you at the upcoming election. Because that's what I said. They were trying to impeach me or they wanted me to step down. They're like, oh, apology's not good enough. You have to step down and make a formal apology on Instagram. And basically they're like, because that was the thing they said at first, like, they're like, okay, we'll forgive you if you just come out and tell everybody that you're a racist, transphobe, rape apologist, sexist.
That's retarded.
Whatever. It's like they give you the opportunity to shame yourself, and then we're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to step down. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to incriminate myself with a bunch of lies like that. Then they're like, okay, well, then we're just going to do it for you. And then they continue with the smear campaign. Like, they're at least nice enough to give you the chance to smear yourself and just come out, because that's what they want. They want you to just like kowtow to them, right?
Yeah.
And then once you don't do that, then they just wreck you. And so that's what happened, and no one wanted to help me or participate with backing me up. And then so I said, no, I'm not going to step down. I'm not going to apologize. Well, I did apologize, but I'm not going to make a public statement incriminating myself for some shit that didn't happen or I didn't say. But if you really feel this strongly, you can come out and vote in the next election that we've got coming up in 1 month. So they campaigned and they got everybody together. They got, you know, everybody's mom texting in votes from fucking Alabama and shit. You know, they're like, oh, my friend in Utah who used to be a bike messenger 10 years ago wants to vote in this election. And the guy that works in the office down at Nationwide Legal wants to vote in this election. And so basically they just gathered as many votes as they could. And like at this whole time, I'm in the head of the organization, and as far as I had been in there, we had never had this kind of turnout for an election. When I was elected,
right.
I won with like 6 votes. It's like 6-3-2, right? You know, and the guy before me won with like 5 votes. You know, it's like we only get, like I said, we were only getting a handful of people coming to the meetings and really actually actively participating.
Right.
But over time, during my term as president, like I got a lot more people involved. So now we got a bunch more people coming in, and then with this whole situation, you got a whole bunch of people that jumped in. I had people come and like screaming in my face, spittle flying in my face, like yelling shit, like incoherent, like how dare you type of shit in my
ridiculous,
face.
bro.
And I'm just like, okay, like I don't know. You want to have a conversation? No? Okay, well then yell as long as you want and then bye. You know,
it's a problem with San Francisco, dude, like especially. But of course, it's everywhere. It's in LA, it's in Oregon, it's everywhere. Like this problem of this whole, you know, what I would consider identity politics, kind of infiltrating into organizations and making things uneven, unequal. In the pursuit of equality, right? These people's ideology, they want to use force to make things equal. They want equality of outcome, right? By through any means necessary, even with force. Yeah. That's what they did to you. So that I just find really crazy. I'll tell you a story about actually another SF organization, the SF Bike Polo, right? Which is a lot of the same people from the Messenger organization, right? And I owned a bike shop at the time, and I would go to play bike polo here and there. You came with me a few times, and there was a whole bunch of fun, dude. Those guys were cool. Everyone there was awesome, right? And I always played bike polo there. And then one day, there was a person that I hadn't seen at the courts before, right? Moved to Oakland recently, and they wanted to come to SF to play bike polo. So they came to play, and it was a biological female that referred to herself with they, them pronouns as well. right? But she looked like a female, like 100%, right?
Sure.
So I assumed that she would use the pronoun she, right? So she asked me for help, right? And with her bike, she was having mechanical issues with her bike. So I said, yeah, like I'll check it out. So I was taking a look at the bike, and I asked my friend, I was like, yo, do you have this tool so I can fix her wheel? And then she's like, oh, it's not her, it's they, them. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you can describe yourself however you want, but I'm not going to. Like, pronouns, my speech is free for me to use how I feel, you know? And if to me you look like a biological female, that's how I'm going to describe you. I'm sorry. And she didn't say anything back to me. She just kind of left it at that. And she didn't play bike polo. She left. I played bike polo with everyone else. The next day, there's a whole hashtag cancel campaign going on the fucking internet where they're like, oh, this guy owns a bike shop. He's a bigot. He's a misogynist. He's a patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. He's a racist. Like, yo, how am I grew up in the hood in LA. I barely made it, you know. I'm fucking brown. My parents came from Mexico. What the fuck are you talking about, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Like, what, are you insane? And just because I refuse to use these pronouns while playing bike polo, like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I was gonna fix your bike, you know. I was doing you a favor, you know. We're gonna play bike polo. You don't want to play, then get the fuck out of here, you know. Like, I'm still gonna play. The next week, I went back to bike polo after the whole scandal, right? They were like, oh, yeah, don't let him on the court, blah, blah, blah. He's this and that, right? I go anyway because I'm a troll, you know? And now I'm back at the courts, and this person's still there. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? And, like, whatever, you know? And she's, like, not having it, you know? And then everyone's there like, dude, like, what you said was wrong, bro. Like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it wasn't, bro. You tripping. Like, I have the right to control the speech that my words are mine. Like, you can't control my words. Like, this is not gonna happen, dude. Yeah, it's just not. Legally, it's not even possible for you to request that from someone, you know. It's unreasonable, as a matter of fact, and it's just not in my beliefs to do so. And you need to respect my beliefs. You know, you can't force your ideology on me. It's not gonna work. And then next thing you know, a week later, I get messages from dudes that were like, oh my God, thank you so much. This SJW thing was getting out of hand. These people were pressuring our organization, wanting more players to be females and wanting more players to be they, them, non-binary people and trans and all this stuff. And we couldn't play bike polo freely. We felt we were being pressured by all this other social stuff, you know. And they were like, and thank you for taking a stand because now these people don't come to play bike polo and now we can play freely. Like, that's what the messages that I got, like, on private, you know? And, like, but in real life, they didn't back me up. Yeah. They fucking left me out there, you know?
Yeah, that's,
you know,
unfortunate that happens.
But in private message, they're like, oh, I agree with you, you know? Like, thanks for doing that. Like, my dude, you should have said that when we were on the courts, you know? Like, if you believe something, just believe it, you know? Just stand up for your beliefs, you know? Don't let people run you in the ground just because they want to. And I continued to play bike polo there, and everything was cool. Like, you know, it's just one little incident. Like, but they need to know that they can't do that everywhere they go. You know, and I'm not the kind of person to allow something like that to just fly by me. You know, like, I kind of live for that kind of stuff to happen to me. Like, I just hoping someone would say something stupid so I could, like, unleash on them. You know,
you are kind of a troll.
Yeah. So and I feel like the best way to deal with ideologies is to use reasonable, rational arguments to take those ideologies down. You know, if someone comes at you with an ideology, all you do is use reasonable facts to disprove them, and you'll be all right for the most part. You know, if you just defend yourself properly without using any personal slurs or any, like, you know, like any personal stuff. You know, you just make bigger arguments about the bigger ideology. People usually get fended off by that. They just, like, don't want to get into an ideological debate, because the one funny thing about all these people who believe in all this SJW identity politics stuff is that they don't actually study those arguments. If they did, they wouldn't believe them because they're nonsensical. You know, the reason why they do believe those arguments is because they haven't taken the time to look through them carefully to realize that they're flawed. You know what I mean? Yeah. On the surface, they're all rainbows and butterflies, these arguments. Yeah. But in the core, they're rotten, you know? And they haven't figured that out yet. They still think that, you know, but when you present facts and when you show them the rotten core and you're like, hey, look, dude, like, there's something wrong with your ideology, you know? They just don't accept it. It's either going to be like, okay, I'll leave you alone, or B, I'm going to hashtag cancel you as hard as I could.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to dox you. I'm going to tell people where you live. I'm going to tell everyone you're a rapist. Like, this is ridiculous shit, dude. You can't do that.
I mean, well, if you think about it, it's like they do believe in sort of, I mean, I don't want to put, thoughts and words into other people's heads and mouths, but what I noticed is that a lot of these people that sort of participate in this ideology, they want this sort of ideological utopia where everybody's getting along and kumbayaing and stuff like that. But unfortunately, not everyone is going to go along with it. And basically, the plan that they are attempting to execute is, well, what's the easiest way to not have people that disagree with you in your ideological utopia, right? You just get rid of them, right? You don't, if they don't, like, you try to talk to them and like, hey man, like, you should really not say that or whatever. And if you just say, I don't care, like, I'm going to do whatever I want. It's like, you're not part of the cult. You're not part of the, the ideological sphere, so you have to be dealt with. And they're, they just have to cancel you, get you out of there, get your ideas away from them.
It's borderline like Hitler tactics. That's what he did. He's like, if you don't believe what we believe, then go fuck yourself.
And then it could, that's when they could escalate further and further until they start just straight up, people just are disappearing in the middle of the night. I'm not saying that's happening right now, and it might not get that way anytime soon.
But they're not physically disappearing people, but you disappeared from the face of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I got, it was awful. I had to delete all my accounts. I was just getting too much hate mail, and I was like, you know what, fuck this. I don't even want to be online anymore. Like, this isn't fun, like, I was doing this to communicate with my friends and like, organize events and stuff. And if they don't want me to organize events, they don't want me to run the BMA, they don't want me to do all this hard work for them, I'm doing the work for you. And then, you're just going to just kick me out like that. I'm like, all right, fine. You do it then. Like, and then you will see all the work that I put in by myself, my own blood, sweat, and tears to make this happen for you. And then you treat me like this. I'm, okay, fine. You do it now. And then, of course, they're out of money. They have no money. Like, their events are all garbage, and like nobody goes anymore. Like, one post is down, which is not any fault of theirs, but, the symbology of it all,
because, they could have easily relocated, replanned a different way to fix that situation, I'm sure if they were fucking with one post and you were president, you'd be like, hey, we got to find an alternative meet spot. We got to do something here. But it seems like these people are not even in they're not even in the BMA. They don't even hang out in the city at all. I mean, some of them do, but they're like not, they don't even hang out with the normal crew of people that participate, Right.
Like I said, they barely ever come to events unless it's a huge event, and they don't ever come down to hang out downtown. They don't come to the meetings. Like, they came for that one meeting, then they came for the election, and then they're all gone again. It's just like, oh wait, they're not agreeing with us. Cool, let's just.
But that's typical San Francisco.
Instill our power,
dude.
And then just go back to
these people do that to every organization probably. I mean, just imagine just imagine all the people like during the holidays in San Francisco. The city is fucking quiet because everyone goes back to where they actually live, and the natives, there's just like a few natives, know. And like everyone else is gone for the holidays, you know? So it's kind of, these people go to SF, kind of like use brute force to get things done the way they want it. And then when they're not having it, they're just like, oh, it's the holidays, I'm out. And they just bounce, you know? They're not even there.
They don't actually care about the community at all.
If they did, there wouldn't be fucking needles all over the fucking ground and bums breaking into windows, jacking people at Twin Peaks. It's crazy shit, dude.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be like 60,000 people living inside of Golden Gate Park if they gave a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the truth is that they don't. Like, it's the people that complain about the gentrification in San Francisco that are doing the gentrifying.
Yeah,
They're like, oh my God, Oakland's getting so gentrified. Meanwhile, they live in Oakland, and they are from the Midwest, and they moved to Oakland, and because it's cheap. Like, dude, you're the guy doing that. Like, how are you complaining about what you're doing? Like,
exactly,
dude, hella hypocritical, dude. And everything about these arguments is hypocritical. Like, the whole argument of we're gonna use force to get you to believe what we want you to believe, right? Mm-hmm. It's hypocritical.
Which is exactly against what they were fighting for, right?
How are you gonna try and create equality with force? Like, if the majority of males want to participate in certain subjects, that's what they're going to do because they're naturally inclined to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's actual physical differences between a male and a female biologically. Mm-hmm. Factually, scientifically.
Yeah.
There are differences between a man and a woman. Mentally, physically, the whole deal, you know? Men are going to gravitate towards certain professions. Women are going to gravitate to certain professions. Just because a woman works, just because most women work in the healthcare industry doesn't mean that they are a matriarchy that's discriminating against men. I could go out there with a picket sign right now and be like, oh,
more male nurses.
More male nurses. The matriarchy's get, you know, like, dude, like, that's not what's happening. They're just naturally inclined to doing that.
Yeah.
You know? In Scandinavian countries where they're the most egalitarian, the most free to do what they want with free choice, right? There's more inequality. More males do more things like architectural design and things like that. More women take care of the healthcare stuff and schools and teachers and all that. Mm-hmm. It's a naturally occurring phenomenon.
Yeah.
To try and use force to equalize that is retarded.
It's going against nature.
Going against nature. It's hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because you want everything to be equal, but yet you're going to employ the same tactics of race. Like for example, did you know that Asians have to score the highest in order to be, admitted into certain colleges?
Oh yeah,
they have to have the highest GPAs and the highest test scores. Like, why?
Yeah.
How can you make base requirements? How can you base them off of race or ethnicity? That's literally racist.
Yeah, affirmative action is
affirmative action
totally
is
racist.
Definitely
and
racist.
It is biased against Asians, but the SJW types don't talk about that because it's a minority that's doing well, right? And they don't want that doesn't fit into their plan of minorities doing well. They want to maintain the victim class so they can use it as a bargaining chip to get their agenda passed. You know, get their
and the only thing that leads to is a terrible economy, because when you go to Home Depot now, it's not the dude that knows everything about nuts and bolts that's helping you find a nut and a bolt. Now you go and it's someone that's on their fucking phone on Instagram who doesn't give a fuck about nuts and bolts, who just got the job because she's some oppressive class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's not gonna make anything better. You know, like, I don't want someone working on my bike as a bike mechanic just because they're a biological female and they got hired. Like, if they fuck up my bike, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't care what you look like. I want my fucking bike fixed. If you're a chick and you fix my bike better than dudes,
cool.
Then fucking dope.
Yeah, but if you just got hired randomly just because
you got titties,
that's make no sense. That's whack, dude. And that's literally sexist to do that. And the bicycle industry, which I work in, I'm a bike mechanic, and we were just talking about all the problems in the bicycle industry yesterday when we were hanging out in Belmont Shore. But that's one of those problems, is that these companies are doing the exact same thing. They're adopting these policies. They already put out several newsletters saying, hey, we're going to have a women-only program because we need more women in our industry, and no men can apply to go to this school where you can learn to be a mechanic. No men are going to apply this year. Only women. That is something that's really happening right now. That's nuts. That's nuts, dude. How is
so exclusionary?
You cannot do it. It's sexist. You know what I mean? And then the argument is going to be, oh, but we're privileged. So
you just got to do the old like, oh, well, I just identify as a female and you can't say anything about it or else you're a bigot.
Dude, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I filled out the application and I put female.
Yeah.
And then if I get called up, you know, I'm just like, oh yeah, I identify as a female. What's the problem? You better not refer to me as him, or I'm gonna be very upset. Yeah. You know, I'll play it. I'm serious. I'll play it. I mean, that's what people are doing in sports, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, I'm a biological female.
Mission Crit had the same problem. A lot of people started talking trash about that because they said like, you can participate in any category that you feel is most appropriate for how you identify. So you could have, you know, and I mean, Rogan talks about it in the MMA world. It's happening in all worlds of sports, right?
Right.
That you get biological males coming into the female category and then just dominating the field, and then it's just like, you know, it's not good for women. It's not good for biological women
or men.
We're reducing their safe spaces. We're reducing their abilities to participate and thrive together and have their own community of their actual safe space, right?
Yeah.
We're taking their safe spaces away by forcefully injecting biological males into it.
And then another problem.
It's kind of wild.
Another problem with that ideology is that if you force equality upon everyone, right? Okay, well, what about men? We deserve equality too. We do the most dangerous jobs. Why aren't women doing those jobs?
Yeah.
Why aren't they in oil refinery? Why aren't they EMTs? Why aren't they police officers? Why aren't they all these things, that are like extremely dangerous, Where are they for these things, Why is it that when we have a battle for custody, the woman always wins?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it only goes one way, Rick.
Yeah.
Come on now. We all know this.
But there are certain things that are unequal for men, that need, that if we wanted to get rid of all double standards and we really wanted to create a utopian or dystopian, I should say,
Yeah.
Equality.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with this. I mean, it's like, I can either open the door for you when you're going into a building, or if you're talking trash to me on the street, I can punch you in the face. Like, if you want to be equal, if you want to be a woman, be a woman. If you want to be equal, then you're going to be treated like equal. It's like,
what's up with that?
How come you can't beat up a woman? If a woman's in the street like hitting you and you can't hit them back,
Yeah, why is it that I could just
I'm not advocating for hitting women. I'm just pointing out the double standard there.
But think about this. Why is it that I can roll up on some random dude right now and be like, yo, fuck you, dog, and just sock his ass? And that's socially acceptable.
And yeah,
I might go to jail or whatever, I might get charges pressed against me, but in the end, like, it's not like I'm not going to get hashtag canceled for that.
Yeah.
But if I go out there right now and I hit some random lady or some stupid girl who yelled at me, who tried to stab me with a knife.
Yeah.
Say a girl tried to stab me with a knife, and I knocked her the fuck out. I would still be the evil person for doing that, Like,
look at her face. Look at her face.
But if something like that happened, like, that's a double standard that, like, obviously we know why. Because physicality is important. Most men are physically more capable than women. Mm-hmm. And this is something that's really funny because they're like, no, like, everyone's the same. There's no such thing as gender. It's a social construct. It's not real, just in our head.
Well, okay. The whole thing about gender is like, I don't really even believe that gender is a real thing. I think gender is based off of, stereotypes of like clothing that people wear, basically. Because this is the one thing when this whole thing happened and people started dragging me through the dirt, and I was just like so confused. I'm like, well, what is gender then? And I started really diving into it because I thought I understood and I thought I knew what was going on, but apparently I didn't, because everyone's telling me, oh, you don't know about gender. So I started looking into it and I started asking people. I'm like, well, what is it? And so then I was getting multiple different types of explanations of what gender is. It's like there's the born this way. It's like, oh, that's one of the things that you hear people say. It's like, oh, I was born this way. I was born a woman in a man's body, or born a man in a woman's body, whatever. There's the born this way argument, right? There's the social construct argument, right? Which is just like, oh, you weren't born that way. Society makes you the way that you are, right?
Right.
And then the third one is your gender can be fluid and you can kind of change it whenever you feel like it and decide, right? And all three of those completely contradict one another. So I'm like,
no, but all three are also wrong.
Yeah.
All three have been debunked. Like,
yeah.
For the gender dysphoria argument, right? Against people who say I'm born this way, right?
That's the people that don't have a problem with their gender. They have a problem with their biological sex.
Exactly.
They believe that they're in the wrong body.
That's gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
So for someone who suffers from gender dysphoria, which is actually now a clinical classification of a mental disease,
mm-hmm.
which is identified now as a mental disease. Like, it's not, it isn't something that you want to be. Why don't you want to be trans? Because the rate of suicide is extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
The risk of, there's just too much risk involved in doing something like that.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not desired to have gender dysphoria.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to anyone who's actually trans, they will say, if I wish that I could just have been born in the body that I was designed to be in, like, I don't want to feel like a woman when I'm really a male. That's too much work.
Yeah.
They all say that. They all say, like, it would be beautiful if I was just born how I wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
So that is like classified in that way. So you can already just debunk that scientifically,
mm-hmm.
with facts. Then the argument of gender as a social construct, they did an experiment on this with a female and a little boy and a little girl in the 60s that everyone quotes. I can't think off the top of my head the specific test that went on, but essentially all of this gender identity politics comes from this study. And they just basically took a young boy, a set of twins. They raised one as a boy, one as a girl. They were both biological males. And then eventually they both reverted. So the study that is being used to support the idea that gender is a social construct, because they took two twins that were biologically identical, forced one to grow up as a female, forced one to grow up as a male, then the other one turned and in her later years decided, I don't like, this is wrong, I shouldn't have ever been a female, I want to be a male, you know? And so then that whole argument just falls off, because they were saying, yeah, it's
society
okay.
is telling you, oh, when the boy wears the blue shirt, he becomes more masculine, or
some
whatever.
Some of that stuff is true though. Like for like colors, like there's no color assignment to like sex. You know, like I feel like that's kind of weird. Temperament and feelings though, that's a whole different story. Like men are gonna be more cutthroat. They're gonna be, they're just different. You know, women are gonna be more empathetic. They're gonna focus on how things feel.
They operate more from a right brain perspective, whereas men operate more from a left brain, which is, logic, reason.
But saying that is a problem.
Spatial awareness.
Saying that is a problem because you're saying that women are not logical and have no reason.
I'm not saying they're not logical. I'm just saying that they do operate.
I
because
know.
everybody, like the goal, right? So the goal is to balance your mind between both the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere.
It's exactly right.
You want to be logical. Everybody wants to be logical. Everybody wants to have reason, but you also want to be empathetic. You also want to be creative. You also want to be.
You need both.
The more feminine aspect.
You can't be one or the other,
Yeah.
or you're gonna be a dick in one way or another, right? So if you're too far off the edge of being empathetic and you only care about how things feel, then you turn into SJW.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're too far on the right and you're just like only care about the hard logistical facts,
Yeah.
and then you're a conservative weirdo, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like that is why we have political climate. It comes from the same duality type of thinking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's where all this tribalism shit comes from. And these people don't realize that they're participating in a tribal game. They think that they're changing the world, that they're really like doing something good for everyone, and they're really not. They're really just fucking everything up. You know what I mean? Fucking up small communities like the SFBMA,
Mm-hmm.
fucking up large communities like the whole fucking country. You know, it's all going to shit.
Yeah.
Social media, all of it, dude. It's ridiculous. And so what we need is to figure out a way to be able to do the things that we want, and to not let these ideological constraints battle us like that. You know. So we were talking about that, like with your whole situation, now that you're having to deal with the fallout of this occurrence, right? Like, what is your next move? Like, what are you going to do now to kind of bounce back from this?
I don't know, man. I mean, I've been thinking about that topic myself for a long time, because that was my life. I was planning on being the president of the BMA for a while. Like, I had no plans to stop. I was going to do it again the next year, and then probably again the next year. And I had no plans on not being a bike messenger. I had a great apartment, I had a great job, social standing within the community. I was well respected and well liked. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I really found something that I can be a part of, a community that really I enjoy, that respects me, and I respect it. And I'm working with all these people, and this is a real family that I can be a part of, right? And then when the carpet was ripped out from under me like that, it really, like I said, I got off all social media. I quit my job. Like, I just didn't want to have anything to do with bike messaging at all after that, And of course, I'm always gonna love bikes. That's goes without saying, Obviously, I don't know what to do. I've been working random odd jobs just to make money to pay rent. I'm running away, I guess. I'm on my little bike tour right now, and that's just basically what I've been doing, is just working odd jobs, stack up a little cash, and then just take off on my bike and go, just ride away, and get out of the city, because the city is starting to feel constrained. That's where my space is, my studio space where I live. So, and I pay such a ridiculously cheap amount of rent, especially for the San Francisco, housing environment. So it seems ridiculous for me to give that up and move away. But at the same time, I end up like locking myself in my room. I don't want to go outside because I know this is how people are acting. And I just feel like I'm walking on eggshells now. And I'm feeling more like I just want to get away from, major metropolitan areas. And, I'm also getting older. I'm almost 30. So, I'm starting to think about things that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Well, do I want to have children and a wife or whatever, more traditional things, or do I want to continue to just be wild and out, long hair, riding my bike around type dude, which is also a fun thing to do,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know which direction I'm going to go. It's kind of yeah, it's in the air right now. I'm still figuring it out. But I think that getting tossed out of the BMA was a huge catalyst for me to really start looking into my life and who I am and what I want for myself. And like, I don't want to say fuck everyone else, but I mean, like, I did realize after this whole thing unfolded and it all happened to me, I did realize that you are kind of alone out there. Like, people that you think are your friends can just easily turn on you whenever they feel like it for whatever reason they choose.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday as well, how the state of the economy is really reaching in to everyone's industry, and everyone's kind of like dog eat dog world right now. You know, like, no one has money. Everyone's kind of looking out for themselves to just barely get on by, in every industry, in the bike industry, and what I do as like bike shop stuff, in the messenger. And it seems like everything's kind of drying out, and the people that are left fighting for resources are these types, the SJW types. They're like, no, we're going to get what we want,
Well, okay, I see two camps here, right? You have the more liberal SJW types that are basically advocating for larger government because they want, government-funded housing. They want
reparations.
They want reparations. They want the government to pay for stuff, right?
Yeah.
They want the government to pay for stuff, and they want wealthy people to pay the government that's ultimately going to pay for their stuff, right? And then so that's their end goal, is basically to have a large government that's going to take care of the people. And I don't really agree with that, because I think that sort of is giving up your personal power and responsibility to someone higher.
Yeah, it's the idea that the collective, the identity of a group, is more important than the individual.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're all, suckling at the teats, so to speak, of the government, right? And the government can choose. I mean, we just had the fires in Northern California recently, and PG&E decided we don't want to start any fires, so we're going to turn everybody's power off. And they just flicked the switch, turned everybody in the whole Bay Area and Northern California's power off for like a week. Without, they just said that they were going to do that, and they just did that. And like, old people, like, their fucking fridges went out, and like, it's like, it was chaos, dude. Grocery stores were selling out. Nobody could get gas, and like, cell phones were out. AT&T towers went down to power, and so nobody could use their phones. People's TVs weren't working. So you couldn't even watch the news to find out what the fuck was going on. Where are these fires? Are they getting close to my house? It was horrendous. And then the fire started anyways. And it was also PG&E's fault, because the stupid shit is, everywhere around San Francisco went out of power, but San Francisco itself still had power the whole time, because that's where this like little elite stronghold is. And they have the huge power lines, the transmission lines that are, so they turn off the localized power to areas around it, but they still have the huge transmission lines traveling through these areas to reach San Francisco to power their city. And those are the ones that were going down, starting fires in these areas where their localized power had been turned off. And they got fucked, while the people in San Francisco can just go about their daily business without even understand, like, they don't care about anything, right?
Yeah.
So that's that. But what I'm saying is, like, when you give away your power, like, at that time I was on my uncle's property, and he has solar. He's completely off grid. He's got his own well. We pump our own water. We have solar, the whole package. We can run TV all day long, satellite dish. Everything's off grid. We're totally self-sustainable.
In Mendocino County?
In Mendocino County, yeah. So I was there. So we were good, but everyone else that we knew, like, there's one guy, one of my uncle's friends, he couldn't get water to his house because he has water. He's like, they're boonies, like hillbilly types, so he's got his own water tank, and, he has a truck come out and fill the water tank, but it's down the hill on his property. So he needs the electronic pump to pump the water up to the house. So he had water, but he couldn't even get it. He had to go out with a bucket and, open the lid and dip the bucket in like he's in Africa or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Walk like 3 miles to his crib.
So yeah. But basically what I'm saying is that when you want the government to provide you with stuff, you have to realize that the government can just turn that off whenever they want. These corporations or whatever, anybody that you give power to and your personal responsibility to, they can take it whenever they feel like it.
That's the key. The key is that the reason why they prefer a larger government as opposed to, a smaller government is because they want to give up their freedoms in exchange for
not having to worry about it.
Less responsibility.
Yes.
That's exactly right. So they want to be less responsible for their decisions and economic strategies in where we live in this country. They want less responsibility. They don't want to think about that stuff. They want someone else to do it for them. and they just want to be pampered and taken care of. Like, yo, that's crazy.
That's bad because
You're giving up your freedoms.
Yes.
It's like it's the same reason why conservatives don't want to give up their guns.
Yeah.
You know? It's because, okay, sure, let's give up our guns and make everything safe. Or is the government going to give up their guns? No. They're not going to give up their fucking guns. Or is China going to give up their guns?
No, absolutely
Hell no. So, like, can we really realistically give up our guns?
No, I would never. I mean, I don't own a gun myself. I mean, I'm in California where it's like pretty difficult to get one.
Yeah.
And then even when you do, it's hard to get bullets. And I've never shot a gun. I'm not really a gun person myself, but I know a lot of people that have guns, and I totally am supportive of Second Amendment rights, and I think that everyone should have a gun. I would love to, I don't know. I don't think I'm responsible enough. See, this other thing is like, I wish that I was more personally responsible because I also end up finding myself being completely irresponsible a lot of the time. And, but I do agree with some sort of conservative values. But at the same time, there's the people on the right or whatever. They don't have the whole picture either. They're doing things that are not helping either. You know,
no, it's the other half.
Like those, because these dudes, they're all like, let's just keep drilling and fracking and, building automobiles and just like taking capitalism and fucking running with it. And it's super cutthroat on that side, right? And on that side of the spectrum, it's just like way more dog eat dog. It's like the opposite of collectivism. It's individualism, where it's just like you're okay with fucking up somebody else if it means your survival. And I don't agree with that either,
Yeah, that's a problem. The whole idea is that it's a pendulum, and it's always swinging back and forth, right? That's why in every election, the government is always electing. And I say the government because I don't really believe that we do any electing with our vote, But,
no, absolutely not.
But the government is always like, okay, Democrat, okay, Republican, okay, Democrat, okay, Republican. You know what I mean? Like George Bush, Bill Clinton, Obama, Trump. You know what I mean? Like that's how they do it. Like it's a pendulum. They swing it. They can make some people happy for a little while, and then make some people happy for another little while. And they keep this balance like going,
Yeah.
Without people just like having another civil war type of shit,
Well, now everyone's talking about, the civil war is coming, like the Boogaloo or whatever, like the civil war is going to come back.
It's all this sensationalist Trump shit that's going on too, and like the impeachment and all this like.
Well, that's just soap opera shit.
Fucking,
it's crazy how I feel like people have been roped back into the whole two-party paradigm. I remember like 10 years ago when George Bush just fucking got us into the Iraq war, and we were going over to the Middle East after 9/11, which you can say whatever you want about what happened there, who did it or inside job or whatever kind of thing you want to say. Basically, it was used as an excuse to go, fuck some shit up over there.
Yeah.
And like it was not within the interest of the American people. We don't like war. I'm anti-war, dude. There's a lot of people out there that are anti-war, and people were saying, not my president. I had one of the shirts. It had George Bush's face on it. It said, "Not my president."
Right.
And people at that time were saying like, we need to get out of the two-party paradigm. We need to say no to Republicans and Democrats. But somehow people have been roped all the way back into this, so they're now just like hardcore progressive Bernie Sanders type folk, or they believe that Trump is a hero and he's gonna save us, and nothing that he can do or say is wrong, and he's playing 4D chess and 6D chess, and don't worry, trust the plan. Like he you might not understand it, but he's moving these chess pieces around, and he's gonna take out the deep state and all this type of shit. When really, if you look at what he's doing, he's going along with all the same bullshit that elites have been doing the whole time. Like the war, he's expanding military in the Middle East. Guantanamo is still open. Guantanamo.
That shit's not going away.
It's not going away, dude. Like we're still, we're still drilling and fracking and producing oil, and now so we're doing that in our own country, fucking up our own natural environments, right? And then at the same time, we're still building military expansionism in the Middle East, which the whole thing we were over there for the first place was for oil. And so we all wanted to pull out of that and do, we need to reduce our dependency on foreign oil. So then he started fracking and drilling oil in our country. But why are we still doing shit over there? It's like, dude, he's actually double fisting, these conservatives, and they think like, you just don't understand. Trust the plan. And they're just like,
it's a game of getting as much shit as you can before you're done. You know what I mean? So he's in there now. He's trying to, fucking thug his way into everything. He's just thugging his way through life and thugging his way to the top, basically. You know, he thugged his way into the presidency. Every president is a thug.
He didn't thug his way in. He was, I feel like, okay, I believe that there is, you know, a large conspiracy that sort of umbrellas all other global conspiracies, right? And so I believe in, like, you know, the deep state or the globalists or the, you know, the controllers or whatever the fucking Illuminati, whatever the fuck you want to call them, right? These groups of people, right? And I think that, you know, in the 2016 election, like, they definitely wanted Hillary, or maybe they didn't. It doesn't matter. But
no,
Trump,
they definitely wanted Hillary.
But Trump was Plan B, right? He's Plan B, because there's no way they would have let an election happen where they didn't own both parties, right?
Of course. Yeah.
But somehow all these people, the conspiracy theorists that, like I was talking about 10 years ago, were saying we need to get rid of the two-party paradigm. They got roped in and with, like, some, you know, the whole QAnon thing.
This is how it happened. Like, all right. So before it was, people were nonpartisan, right? They were starting to be like, man, fuck both parties. Like, we should just do our own thing. Mm-hmm. And then it became the way, to answer your question, the way that they got rid of these people is they just said, oh, anyone who questions the dual paradigm is a conspiracy theorist, and they wear a tinfoil hat. So now, if you don't believe in democratic values and you don't believe in conservative values, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
You're either left, right, but if you're in the middle...
Well, now everybody's a conspiracy theorist, dude. People on the right are calling leftists conspiracy theorists. Oh, why are you talking about Russia hoax, impeachment hoax? You're conspiracy theorists.
That's kind of true, too.
And then the other people are pointing at the people on the left are pointing at the right and be like, oh, you believe in, like, you know, QAnon and, you know, all these other crazy right-wing conspiracies that, like, where the Clintons are evil, which they are, and Schiff is corrupt, which he is.
They're definitely corrupt.
But they're all corrupt. Trump is
dude.
corrupt. You know, he was in fucking Epstein's black book. That Epstein had his and Melania's phone number. He had the butler's phone number. If you go, like, on Gawker, they published fucking Epstein's, like, fucking Rolodex.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump is in there. He has a huge fucking entry, and it's circled. Like, they're not all circled. There's a couple of names that are circled in Epstein's fucking Rolodex. Donald Trump's one of them. So there's pictures of him together, like.
And Bill Clinton.
Dude, I mean, they're all interconnected. Like, for the people that believe that Donald Trump is, he's the hero that's taking down the deep state. He's a white hat, the alliance member that's taking down the deep state.
That's definitely not true.
Bullshit. Yeah. It's all bullshit. Like, you yourself as a conspiracy theorist have been manipulated.
They've been roped in.
Right? And it's by the deep state that you're supposedly fighting against.
See, but
they figured out that you were onto them, and they fucking just, like, led you on a little trail of breadcrumbs into a circle, and now you're fucking just doing your little thing over here.
That's why,
and you're no longer a danger to them.
People like Alex Jones and these people. That's why I find that, like, the name of his channel funny, Infowars.
Yeah,
because he guessed it.
There is an information war going on for sure. You know,
what's
but
happening
he's also now I mean, so, you know, I watch a little bit of Alex Jones, but even he is roped into, you know, save me Donald Trump. You know?
Yeah, he's definitely weird now. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like, the game is now, like, convincing people A or B, you know? Like, everyone has all this disinformation, and like you said, everyone's a conspiracy theorist. Everyone's starting conspiracies. They're kind of like muddying the water, you know?
Well, now censorship actually works because there's so much information out there that people, like the deep state, whatever you want to call them, these people that are in charge, they just flood the information market with so much disinformation, right?
That it just
to muddy
lost,
the waters.
man.
And then they can say, oh, this person is lying or this person is lying or whatever. And so people cannot build a functional representation of reality for themselves. They don't know what's true. And so they either give up and just say, fuck it, I don't even want to participate anymore, and just let these people rule the world. Or, you know, they kind of funnel you into whichever conspiracy fits your narrative best.
It's not even really people doing this anymore. If you think about it, algorithms are kind of taking over most of that shit. Like, for example, like, we were talking about how it could be a possibility that the movie Joker was potentially could have made bad reviews on the movie, like on Rotten Tomatoes and shit like that, like on purpose to kind of build, like, hype on it, you know? And so sometimes we've been noticing that things happen and memes come out and they kind of flood the internet. Like, if some new Netflix show is released, there'll be like a million memes on the subject, you know, like all kinds of shit. Like for example, that movie where that lady wears the blindfold or whatever, and she has to, like, swim on or ride a boat with her children through, like, I forget what it's called, but It's a movie about.
I don't know what it's called, but I kind of remember what you're talking about.
So when that came out, everyone was like, "Oh, the movie sucks," like blah blah blah, and there were memes all over the place. But people watched it because of the memes, and now it's being discovered that there are algorithmic campaigns to promote certain contents on the internet to make certain things hyper aware, to make things go viral.
Yeah.
Right. And they can manipulate that now. So like,
but at the bottom of the algorithm, somebody had to program that algorithm, and they're programming their own personal internal bias into this algorithm, right? That algorithm has to be written by a person.
Yeah. Someone has like Facebook. When you use it now, you can sense the biasness of the creators. You know what I mean? To what they want you to see, to what they want you to be friends with, what like everything that you interact with, they're feeding it to you, you know? Like other people are saying, like if you go on Facebook and you type, it's like they amplify rage, the algorithm.
Yeah.
You know?
Gets more clicks that way.
Yeah. So they just, whatever is like trendy or clickbaity, it just ramps it up, you know? And it creates all of this stuff, you know? And then Instagram, it's kind of like another weird world, you know? Like all this algorithmic online stuff is really people are having a hard time comprehending it. They're all getting baited, you know? Everyone's getting roped into one ideology or another, or conspiratorial
just going down rabbit holes.
Yeah, because it's so easy to get drawn in, you know?
Well, that's like, you know, people call that the echo chamber. You know, like if you you like this, we'll just recommend you 10 more, you know, and we'll just kind of funnel you down here and, you know, get you to watch this sort of thing. But I said, you could
watch one video of say you were like, I'm kind of interested in what Bernie Sanders has to say. You watch one fucking video of Bernie Sanders talking, all of a sudden they're like, oh, he's a liberal. Send him more, you know?
Yeah.
And now they're suggesting you everything that's considered democratic. You're like, dude, I don't want to watch all this shit. I just wanted to watch Bernie Sanders, you know?
I think the problem is that people are lazy, and myself included, because it's really easy to just keep clicking on the recommended videos. It's like, oh, that's semi-entertaining, you know, and then that's how you go that way. But instead, people, like, it comes back to personal responsibility. You have to be aware that the algorithm is just funneling you into this direction. But you, as a sane, rational person, you want to take more perspectives in. You got to go to the search bar. You got to type something else in and actively, physically search out new information.
That's
rather
right.
than just clicking down the line of the algorithm, because the algorithm is going to take you somewhere that you may or may not actually want to go.
Yeah, that's true. And with personal responsibility, you know, like, if you wanted to discover something, you just go and look it up. You know, you just be like, hey, well, you question it. Like,
but then the problem is that the search bar even itself, you know, has biased algorithms in it. You know,
you gotta use that DuckDuckGo.
It's taking more. Yeah, exactly. It takes more effort to actually. You know, it takes a lot. It's like a full-time job trying to understand and interpret information
and
that's
here's
out
another
there now.
thing.
It's fucking insane.
Another thing about personal responsibility is that the easiest thing to do for most people is to just do what I call ideological adopting. So they just go find their nearest idea provider, like CNN or NBC or Fox or fucking Now This or one of those fucking, you know, internet, Instagram teaching you how to be an SJW things.
Yeah.
They find the nearest opinion provider, idea provider, and they subscribe to it. And they just get the info and they just adopt it. And all their ideas come from the same place. You can tell right away.
False idols.
Yeah. Like if you were really an individual, why would you believe the same things that everyone else believes? Why would you believe in why would you, like, I've seen many of these things where it's like, yeah, support trans people, support brown people, support like those people are not in the same tribe. Like, how are those all the same people, you know? Like, those are all individual groups.
Intersectionality, you know.
Intersectionality, that's exactly right. Like, if we look up a picture of intersectionality, there's all these hands, and it's all like gay. All the basically the oppressed classes are considered now like one big ass oppressed class. You know?
Yeah, the Women's March, they have you know, they have gay stuff and Black Lives Matter and, you know, all these different.
And at the Black Lives Matter stuff, they got gay stuff
and women's stuff.
And women's stuff.
Yeah.
And at the
They all have their. It's like music festivals, dude. They all have their little booths up, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, come check out my band. Here, pass out flyers."
But you can't.
we have a show next week,
Dude, but you blow people's minds when you're like, oh, well, I support the Second Amendment, but I also support, Bernie Sanders. They'd be like, what? You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. You can't be an individual no more. You either you got to eat it all up, or what the fuck are you doing?
or you're not on our team,
You're
right?
not
And
on
you're
our team,
ostracized. And so you're not this one or you're not that one, and so these guys are going to call you that name, and these people are going to call you that name, and so if you actually truly are an individual, you're like kind of outcast from, you're like
that's exactly right.
politically homeless, like you just fucking
even people like Joe Rogan have said like that he used to be a liberal and now he kind of like feels like liberals are like they kind of drifted away from what he thought he used to be.
Myself included, dude. I'm from the Bay Area. Like I grow my hair out long and smoke weed and be all hippy dippy fucking lefty. I'm literally left-handed. I'm left-handed.
Me too.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely used to believe in a lot of liberal ideology, and I still do. Like, I mean, of course,
it's just not the same ideology.
But like you say, it becomes more forceful, and
it's just weird now. Yeah. So that's kind of something that happened to you, that whole fucking situation, and it's unfortunate. And it happens to the best of us. People have tried to hashtag cancel me like a million times. People have blocked me on Facebook. I've gone to Facebook jail several times for just saying stuff. People have tried to leave. People have tried to destroy the reputation of my bike shop by leaving bad Yelp reviews and crazy shit like that, like unfounded craziness, People have tried all kinds of stuff to me, like the best thing that I found is just to hold your ground and be like, nah, fuck that,
Mm-hmm.
like be a man and just stand up for yourself,
Yep.
and your beliefs, and like or be a woman and stand up for yourself and your beliefs, Don't let no one pressure you into thinking that all women have to be believed. Like that's crazy.
Women can lie too.
Women can definitely fucking lie, Men can definitely lie.
There's bad people on good people, bad people in every category.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, but now, like, we need to step away from that. We need to become more unified.
Yeah.
So, like, just before we finish up this pod, I kind of want to show everyone like more stuff, more of your stuff, because you do more than just the, the bike messenger shit. So.
Yeah.
We also have on here.
I gotta go to the bathroom real fast. Can I?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I'm just gonna put on a music video that you.
Sweet. Yeah. Pop that shit on. I'm gonna fucking.
Go ahead. So, not Dracula is also his musical identity.
Blue is the highest color. Feel free to look around. I am yet to find another.
That view is nice.
All the rest are underground.
The top of Twin Peaks,
But
overlooking the
if you
city.
have doubt, just ask. Information's the highest illness. It's the easiest to spread around. It runs rampant through the village. Infecting
Yup.
us
Taylor's back.
without a sound. But if you have doubt,
Yeah, I was just mentioning the view is pretty sick here. You live at the top of Twin Peaks in SF, right? At the time?
At that time, yeah.
I remember at the time that you lived here, this is when you came to the shop I used to work at, right? That's where I met you.
Yeah, at right there on Stanton.
Avenue Cycler.
That's the one. All it wants is it. Yeah.
And that's your drummer.
Junki, yeah. He's back in Japan now. Unfortunately. I'm on the hunt for a drummer. If anybody's in the San Francisco Bay Area plays drums, let me know.
And you have a music studio for practice and all, right?
Yep.
We are here with our friends.
Look at the comments, dude.
I know, right? That's what I'm reading.
These fools are clowning you.
I am the highest human.
They're telling you to use Occam's razor.
I don't even know. What is that?
It's like an ideological tool that you can use to cut through arguments that are false. It's called Occam's razor. It's a good concept. You should look it up.
Aren't you proud of me? But if you have doubt,
Yeah, this was a Tiny Desk submission a couple years ago. Dude. Speaking of SJW type situations, this of course I didn't win, or else I'd be kind of a big deal now.
You'd be a cool guy.
Yeah, the person that did win was a midget amputee that played.
A midget amputee? Dude.
Yeah, she played a violin with her feet. It was, man, I was like, I can't compete with that, you know?
Dude, I feel like I should play all the race cards now. I feel like they're the most valuable today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm born of 2 immigrant parents, and I'm brown, and I suffered through what would I call systematic oppression. You know?
Yeah, dude. Like, oh shit, you're a legal citizen? Oh man, sorry, we can't.
Sorry, nah, bro. We're only hiring illegal immigrants here, bro. Just get out of here. Only refugees, bro.
Oh shit. Yeah.
What's the difference between an illegal immigrant that comes here to fuck around and a refugee? Like a political escapee. What's the difference?
Between a refugee and an immigrant?
I don't know where I was going with that. I was just gonna say there is no difference. Fuck it. All right, so we played that, and you wanted to show us. I mean, you got a Bandcamp. You got all your tracks on here on Bandcamp as well.
Yeah, I'm coming out with hopefully. I'm working on a new album right now. This is just like a little twofer that I put out a couple years ago, I think. That was supposed to get printed on vinyl, but never happened, and the shit was super expensive. So what I'm doing is I'm just I'm gonna do a full album, actually, instead of just a two song little EP thing. I'm gonna do a full album, put that out there, possibly print that on vinyl maybe, but
that's cool.
At least get that out there, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Whatever. I'm not trying to like make a bunch of money or anything like that.
Here's one video that we made together. This is you're in this video.
I am.
Yeah, this is the my cam view of the race. The one that you hosted.
That's me right there. Boom. I'm in like 3rd place.
You
already.
did. Oh wait, who threw this race?
This is Rossi. Rossi put this together. You got all the BMX guys. The what the hell are they called? Bay Game. The Bay Game crew came out for this, and all the Fixie kids. Patrick Fixie King and his whole crew. It was a big deal, dude. There's hell of people at this one.
Look at these fools.
This dude almost dies right here. Oh
Watch
shit!
this.
Right here in the BMX. Oh!
Fuck that. And then your boy fell right there, hit his face on that rail.
Oh yeah, dude, that fool got fucked up, Carlos.
Broke his jaw or something. So this is the buck wild shit we were doing when we were up there. This is SFBMA shit, you know, the right way.
That's me with the tank top. You're looking right at me right there.
Look at this fool wobbling on that little bike.
There's me. Well, I got a cute butt.
Get the fuck.
There's Sean Mon crushing it. I think he actually ended up winning. It's Oscar and me battling it out.
You got no brakes and you got an 8-speed chain.
Yeah.
That's Kyle.
Yeah. Damn, does he have a basket on the front?
Yeah, he has a basket. And he just like letting the bike go.
Too crazy.
Look at these fools.
Oh yeah, this guy was crazy too. I remember
He almost crashes into a wall.
Oh yeah, I think you got that on cam too, right? Or no?
I think so, yeah, somewhere right here. Right there, look. He fucking hits the wall.
Boom,
He
boom.
grinds all on it. Gets out of control type of shit. Then Bunny hops to get his shit back together.
Yeah.
He's like, alright, let me
Reset.
reset. I was riding a mountain bike, so it wasn't like the fastest bike ever, you know. And it was tubeless, so it was just making hella noise, like woo, like the tires rolling.
Yeah, you can hear it.
I should have rode a skinny tire bike.
Oh, Kyle.
And I shouldn't have tried to follow him, because then the same shit happened to me later. For trying to keep up on him, you know?
Yeah, that's how I got hurt during this race. Is trying to keep up with the person in front of me, and I was just like, got so psycho over. Oh, I'm gonna catch this guy. It's like it's
right
not,
here, like it's like, oh shit. Like, oh shit, I shouldn't have followed him through that. This is the kind of shit that I would hope to see continue to happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like, I'd hate for the SFBMA to just become fucking on your left, on your right. Excuse me, sir, you're in the bike lane.
Yeah,
like,
right.
dude, you don't want messages to be acting like that all day long on the streets. You're gonna get a bad rep. You know what I mean? They, them, sir. They, them. You know I'm gonna post this on their shit, right? They're gonna see this.
Who?
I'm posting on. I'm gonna tag SFBMA, the Instagram.
Oh God. I don't wanna
You're
dig
making
that
an
whole shit
nah.
up.
You're making an unofficial comeback, son. Yeah. See, this is. I don't know. I think this is just sick shit. You know, like having stuff like that happen. You know, it's part of everything. But there's other edits of like other races you've done, like the death race.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Sick ass race. Someone, Austin Esposito.
Yeah, this was probably one of my first big races that I organized. Well, it wasn't my first race that I organized, but it's definitely the biggest one I did. And this was a really cool race actually because it was sort of in honor of messengers that have come and gone before us on the streets, right? So
yeah, you left the tags of the dudes at my crib at the bike shop.
Oh yeah, yeah. So basically, what I did is at a certain checkpoint. Well, in the San Francisco Bike Messengers kind of have a tradition. When a bike messenger dies, we have a location that we go to and, you know, sort of party in their honor, and then we ghost ride their bike to this pier and throw it into the water at this fishing pier down in like District 10, Bayview area, and. This is a super cool checkpoint. Yeah, inside the tunnel.
Sick.
But yeah, so I wanted to, at this time, when I first became a bike messenger, I had a coworker who died of a heroin overdose and just like didn't come back to work one day, you know? And I found, this is like when I had first started, you know, and I had found out that this is actually a common problem for the bike messenger community. There's a lot of death, not so much from traffic because most of the bike messengers are really hot riders, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not the traffic that kills them; it's the drugs and the you know, fucking your body up, you know, like just doing all. Oh, there's me right there at the finish line. Eddie coming in first. Eddie and Kyle.
I love that spot too, Parkside. They got good ass food there, and it's dope. Good beer. There's Kyle. Damn. Oh, I think I'm come out wheeling in this for no reason.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, dude, this is the element, you know. This is the type of vibe that you want, you know, from kids that ride bikes. You know, that's all we're doing. We're just trying to hang out, just ride bikes. What's the problem, you know?
Yeah.
Why you gotta bring bullshit into the mix? Just ride your fucking bike, you know. Stop crying.
Eddie on.
Hey,
there you are.
Styling.
Everyone's trying to style up.
And my brother racing here too, right? He's somewhere right here. There's Rossi.
No, that fool came in hella late. Dude. Rossi was, so hammered for this. I remember.
That's, Eddie. He beat that race. He won it.
Taking the win, yeah. And
Damn.
actually, like I was saying, dude, the intro to I have my own little podcast thing going on. I've only filmed one episode, but the intro to my podcast is a camera of his run. You know,
Oh,
I
sick.
had it attached to his.
Is that this right here, Jargon Party?
No, I don't know what that is. It was.
How do I find your podcast?
I don't know. It's called Get Hot, but it's Sound Surf Rex. Search Sound Surf Rex. Sound, and then SERF like a surf, and then Rex like REX. That's my buddy's. That's my producer's. Yeah, right there, the one on the top. Yeah, Sound Surf Rex. Just go to
I'll
their
give him
page.
a little boink. There we go. Subscribed.
And let's see, he's got a couple of videos of my music and stuff, but this one right here, Get Hot, right? Yeah, that's our own little Bike Messenger podcast that we got going on. Really shaky video. I didn't have a gimbal or nothing like that.
You could stabilize it in post. Yeah, you put it into like Final Cut Pro or something, or Premiere, and you can try and fix it. Yeah, with stabilizing algorithms.
That's Jerry right there. So it's his.
Damn, bro, this shit is fucking shaky. What the fuck?
This is a hella dude. It was bad. But it was like my first. I never filmed anything before, and I just attached some GoPro to a shit and was like, hey.
I think the problem was you didn't attach it correctly. Maybe it was vibrating.
It had a weird. Yeah, it was. I didn't.
Hey, what
know
the fuck is this?
This is my.
You look like you're about to teach me how to. I don't know.
More about us.
This is.
We're live in Lennon Studios on March.
Oh, inside your studio?
Yeah, you can see it in the background. I got my guitar up there, and I just, this is my old.
That's my throwy right there. It says Fuse.
Yeah, dude.
I tagged on your wall.
Yeah, that's Dog Paw right there. I'm interviewing him about the glory days of old in the San Francisco Bike Messenger community back in the 80s.
Sick. This is kind of dope.
But yeah, we don't have to watch the whole
I
thing.
hope-
I mean,
I
it's
hope
like
to
a
do it. That's why I
16,
brought it
17 minute
Okay,
thing.
well,
So
no, I'm glad to be
Yeah,
here.
we'll
It
just
took a
skim
while
through it.
to set all this
This is
up. I'm
interesting.
very
I didn't know you did this.
honored to be
yeah,
here.
I was gonna do more, but this is the one that I produced before the whole situation
first
happened, and then after that, I was like, "Fuck being a bike messenger. Fuck doing things for these people anymore. Fuck the community," and I just like left. And so this was our first episode we made,
You know what? You know what we should
and then
do?
I just never did anything else after
You
that.
should just run for president again, and then we'll just. I'll help you get elected. We'll make it happen. We'll
I'm not even
fucking-
I'm not even an active bike messenger anymore,
Nah,
dude.
bro, just hire me. I'll start smear campaigns. I'll do the whole deal.
But you also have certain
Oh shit.
specifically punk rock.
This is dope, dude. I like this.
Right over there.
Can if you just did you edit this afterward?
Yeah,
Add pictures
well,
and
not
shit?
me, but my producer Brian, who
Oh,
is
gotcha.
who's Sound Surf Rex.
Kind of in the tradition of the older psychedelic light companies that light shows that we had.
So this guy, this is Dogpaw Carrillo. He's a Mission kid, San Francisco, born and raised, bike messenger dude from back in the day.
Dope.
He had his own production company called Gravy Dogs Presents. Gravy Dogs, of course, is the mascot of the SFBMA. And he was doing the same thing that I was doing at the time, like setting up events, the races that end in concerts, big parties at the farm and all this kind of stuff. He had a hand in the 94 CMWC, Cycle Messenger World Championships that happened in San Francisco.
That's
He's
sick.
got a shitload of memorabilia. These are all his little bicycles that he's got set up on the stage here, or on the, He helped put this whole visual aesthetic together. He's a great artist, and he was a light show dude. He used to do light shows. I'm a musician, so when I set up events, I play there. He would set up events, and then he'd go set up his projector and project
we
images
all-
and do light show stuff.
We all do things based on our particular if you notice you were performing often and say at the places that you were booking for the end of the race kind of thing, right? You played as Not Dracula a few times. Even at my bike shop, we had a show there, which I can maybe actually pull that up too. I'll show people kind of what the bike shop looked like, the kind of stuff that we were doing out there. But what was it, a 420? What did we with Goctus?
Yeah.
420.
Cactus.
Goctus were some of your friends too that we fucking. Damn, this shit's long.
Yeah, I think you did the whole show, the whole thing. So there's a lot of milling around and stuff. But there's some bands that played, of course. I played, but a solo set there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna try and find is your solo set. We had a little gathering and shit.
I don't know any of those people. Oh, there I am. Hey, look at that.
But you had here we go, a set. so we would throw parties in the bike shop. We'd have people come over, homies. And we were not the only ones. Other bike shops did similar things. You know? Like San Francisco had a party every third Thursday. What the fuck?
Shit. Yeah,
all the
shit was
homies are
weird.
chilling, drinking beers and shit. Like,
Yeah,
it was a
I
good
think
ass time.
you had a keg there.
Yeah,
dude.
we had a keg that day.
That shit was wild, dude.
There's messengers here. There's band people here.
People
there's
from LA and
people
stuff.
from
were there, I
LA.
think, came up.
Yeah, there's this dude right here who rides motorized bicycles who used to live in LA, and then moved up to the Bay, and then I moved up to the Bay too. So we were doing motorbike shit over there. So that was kind of fun. So it's just, you know, staying connected is important. It's kind of what we were talking about. Like, everyone these days kind of feeling lonely, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we don't have a space like this to do this kind of shit anymore. Like, do you have a video for this song?
Yeah. I mean, not an official music video, but I got a live performance video in the Sutro Bass Cave, actually. That was a fun time there. I used to throw shows down there all the time.
That's when we had all those comic books tape glued on the wall instead of paint.
Yeah.
I like that aesthetic a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is a dope shop. Yeah.
yeah, R.I.P. Fusion Workshop.
Yeah, right.
And you said, what is this shop now? We vacated because we were in the Fillmore, and now we left the space like vacant, and now it's what? What did
Now
you
it's like a psychic palm reader or some shit.
so, damn. Now they're
It's funny.
making
tarot. They did tarot and all that, which I mean, I
they're
don't
making
know.
free money. They're not providing any service, and somehow they're getting money.
I don't know. Some people eat that shit up if they enjoy it and they feel like they're getting value for it. Like, I see nothing wrong with it. You know, I'm not a palm reader, so I don't know if what they're doing is legit or not. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say. I'm not like looking at the stars in their alignment. Although I do think that shit has there's some merit there. I do think there's a lot of manipulation involved in that field. You know, a lot of people just jumping on it, calling themselves healers. Because the problem
Yeah.
with that is that you cannot validate or verify, you know, what they're saying is true or not.
Yeah.
So it's all, you got to take it on a faith-based thing. And I'm not saying that there isn't like external factors that are influencing us, like in terms of planetary alignment and electromagnetic fields and all this other kind of stuff.
You know, I think there's like something to it, but I think trying to cash out on it is like not fair. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
cool. I believe you. You know, like you're trying to teach me about Jesus or the stars. Cool, but why are you asking me for money?
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like that's when it gets kind of funny. But if there was no money involved, I would be like, yeah, I'll listen to what you have to say. You know.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, this is kind of like some other stuff that we were into doing. Goktu's rocked it too. I just played a little clip of them after the setup. I'm surprised that I have this whole thing. Like literally the whole
show, dude.
thing. Yeah, it was just chilling and shit. That's random.
Yeah,
Damn,
so
that
this
sounds
band dissolved, unfortunately.
sick.
Harry,
No way.
Yeah, Harry chased a girl to Hawaii. He's living with some girl who was like some heiress or some shit. Had hella of, like farmland in Hawaii or some shit. He went to go.
Coincidentally,
like,
the guitarist is he used to live literally
like right next door to you.
door to me, next door to the bike shop. So that's a funny coincidence. I bet that dude still lives there, right?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. I tried to get him to join my band actually after they dissolved, but he had different ideas. I'm saying that, you know, he's a good musician. I'm a good musician. It just
Creative
wasn't.
differences?
Yeah, it just wasn't right. You know, he wanted a different thing going on. So no hard feelings. Totally. I've been, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, not a big deal. Dude, this audio sounds like shit.
But this guy, the bass player, he's gone like full-time musician. He's in like 2 or 3 bands, and he's gigging all the time. He's like full-time. He's like teaching lessons and shit.
That's dope.
He's full-time music now. Like he was working for Salesforce when I met him. Like, you know, a total fucking technocratic corporation running the world type shit. He's just like, you know, working in their fucking laboratory or some shit. And then he's like, fuck this, dude, I'm out of here. And he went full music, which I think is pretty cool. And apparently he's doing it, so, and he's alive.
A force for the good.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then Ian, I don't know what happened to Ian, the drummer. Hopefully he didn't hurt himself. But yeah, I think he just worked downtown for some random thing. I don't know. Never got too close with them.
Yeah, dude. So this is kind of like some of the shit that was going on over there. Dude, so much shit to show. It's like it'd never end. What is this? Quake City Rumble. Did you do this?
I don't know what this is. I mean, I was involved with this event. I helped organize this event and did a lot of shit for this. But I didn't make this video. I don't know who made this video. This is dope.
I'm not sure, actually. Oh, if it has this 360 shit, it's that one dude.
Austin?
No, that bike messenger dude.
Tipsy Hippie or whatever his name is.
That guy, yeah. He made this shit, probably. I'm gonna guess. Tipsy Bike Productions?
Yeah, something like that.
Instagram, Tipsy Bike Productions. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Yeah, dude, so this is the life. This is the mess life. What do y'all know about the mess life, son? It's straight bonked that dude. It's fucked up.
That's hella funny.
See, this is that SF mess. Like, there's nothing in LA like this, you know? I mean, there's like the LA BMA. There's ULOC Mob down here. There's a few things, but
straight stop traffic.
It's nothing like this, you know? And we've also even got musicians, people making music videos and shit for Bike Messenger shit. What's that one that we were just listening to the other day?
Fucking Carlos Rossi and their whole thing.
Yeah, dude, like, oh shit, there's an E40 song called Carlos Rossi. I didn't even know that. I bet you he bumps that all the time.
Oh shit. They gotta look for their Mess Life mixtape.
Yeah,
dude.
Mess Life, yeah. Fuck, dude. Dude, this one's sick. I'm always bumping this.
Yeah, dude. They need
Hell
to make a video for this.
They should. I think they should have made a video for this instead of Messenger Bag.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, this one's just way more sick. It's a proper track. Yeah, dude. Fucking. We'll let this tune play out as we fucking vacate the premises. We've been going on for quite a little while now on this fucking podcast.
Never talked about coronavirus, dude.
No, we can't get into that today.
Dude. I got the coronavirus right here, dude.
You're getting virused up real quick. Fuck a suit and tie in the best life. Yeah, dude. It's that mess life. But, you know, I'm not a bike messenger. I never have been. I'm a bike rider. I'm a bike mechanic, you know. I'm in the bike culture. I support it heavy, you know. And I own several bike shops. This is what I do, you know. I'm a bike lifer, but I don't deliver shit, you know, for work. I don't get paid to ride my bike, you know. And I get paid to fix bikes, but I don't get paid to ride them, you know. So that's a little different, I guess.
Still, I mean, it's a necessity of the bicycle community too. You know, like people that ride bikes, they need somebody to fix them. You know,
that's true.
Because I don't focus on the mechanical aspect of it. You know, I used to come to you all the time, dude, and you hooked me up with parts and labor, and you know, we had a little, you know, relationship going on.
You know, and honestly, my aim was to be part of all of this. So I was like, well, I can easily probably inject myself into most of these organizations, right? At first I thought, well, Taylor's president of the SFBMA, so let's get that going, you know? Let's build a relationship where I'm like the shop that they go to, you know? Mm-hmm. And then the same thing for, like, races, like sponsoring them so I can try and be noticed, you know? Or the same thing for bike polo. I want to sell bike polo stuff so that they would be the ones to come to me when they needed stuff. Mm-hmm. For the most part, actually, I got a lot of business from people that did bike polo stuff. They would always come to the shop and get wheels or whatever they needed, you know? So, and bike messengers, they would come all the time too, dude. Like, everyone would come every time they needed something, like, real quick, you know? Unless you got a flat and you're far away or something, you know, and you're going to go to the nearest bike shop, you know? But, that's the goal, right? We're supposed to kind of help each other fucking get shit done. What's the whole point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally, dude.
Yeah. Fucking... This one's the fucking one with the.
This is a dope video though. I got a little cameo in there.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in this one.
There's Muerte.
Los and who's the other guy? Was it Freddie or Frankie, whatever? Oh, and Oscar
and
back there.
Oscar.
Bag, homie. Bag check, motherfucker. Yeah. What you got in your messenger bag?
And he really got Carlos to make this video too.
In my messenger
There's everyone at one post.
packages and food, 'cause I need a lot of room. In my messenger bag.
This is a pretty dope video.
Bag, a whole lot of tags.
Mark Kyle back there.
It's hyphy.
There's me. Look at that. There's my cameo. Pulling shit out of my messenger bag.
So I went to TMB, he made a bag for me. I live a real mess life, I'm always in the streets. On my bike, running lights because I'm a beast. I know you following my
Damn, that's a fucking hot clip though,
That is
dude.
a hot clip.
From point A to point B when traffic is the thickest. Busting tags with my bag is when I'm the quickest. What you got in your messenger bag? Got a bag for my bag and a whole lot of tags.
See, when did smoking blunts at one post turn into fucking they them? Dude, this is crazy. Why can't we all just get along, bro?
That's what I always said.
Why can't we smoke blunts and be they them people, you know? Why can't we just do all that?
Yeah, dude, I'm on board, man. I'm all for talking it out and, you know, reconciling our differences.
Point A to point B, and I'm dropping off shit. Tags all day, working double, trying to double up. City mindset.
Has he got little baby carrots in there or something?
Yeah, he's supposed to eating baby
He's got his
carrots.
hand in a bag.
Fully loaded, I'm not your average. Y'all do it for the hype, we just wanna be paid. I never really cared what a hater had to say. I used to run around, but now I ride around. I never changed up, man.
Damn.
I'm still dodging clowns.
Freeway.
Watch me pass by, smacking on my
Hey, you made that Death Ray shirt, right?
Yeah.
I ain't stopping for the road.
Well, Mongo drew it, but it
But
was
you
my
printed
event.
them, yeah.
Got a bag for my bag and a whole lot of tags. In my messenger bag. Paper packages and food, 'cause I need a lot of room.
I feel like, you know, it's just it's just showing that something existed at some point, you know? This was happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every day.
Chilling on the steps, smoking blunts, drinking brews, sucker free. California one posted with the crew. Keep a U-lock handy for them thieves. They be
You know what I mean? Like that's how it really went down. That's what was going
We
on.
got each other back. We out here deep. Fuck around up at the post and get your ass put to sleep. From the pier to Twin Peaks, in the rain or the shine. SFBMA, where we stay on the grind. What you got in your messenger bag?
See, it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to see some shit put in stone, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, compared to the bike game out here, it's weird, dude. Like, look at fucking, there's
There's
this,
that Hanks, dude. They're right in front of the Hanks
oh yeah,
fucking
yeah,
piece right there that Mongo did.
it's just tight. There, like the only thing out here is, you know, besides the messengers out here, like Chris Too Active and like a bunch of other kids that ride, like besides that, there's just like fixie goons, like fools running around on fixies doing dumb shit, you know? And they have some music video shit like this too, but it's not like, it's not bike messenger stuff, you know? It's more like biking for fun
Just,
kind
yeah.
of shit, you know?
Fixie stuff.
Yeah. Probably not. Probably not. You not. Probably not. Probably not. At the corner.
I feel like LA needs something too to bring people together, you know?
Riding on my fixie and you know I got no shirt. Mama say put on a helmet cause she think I'm gonna get hurt. Tell my mama I don't need no fucking helmet on this shit. I be rolling with no hands off on this bitch. Been some corners, hit the block. See my homies for a bit. Then I gotta slide out.
Damn, that's the hood somewhere.
But before I got
They're all
she was
fucking
tweeting
sipping on
about the
lean or some
Now
shit.
my girl keep calling me and texting me and shit. She say, nigga, what the fuck? Oh, you got me so fucked up. SMH, OMG, nigga, I'ma fuck you up. And you think this bitch is Brut, nigga? She look like a duck. And I know you see me calling, nigga, why you won't pick up? Now I'm mad, yeah, I'm mad. So a long way home. But before
A day in the life, dude. A day in the life of what's this fool's name?
Block Boy Fame.
Block Boy Fame, dude. This guy's got a real life, dude.
Cars, niggas say I'm disrespectful. Doing willies all in traffic, niggas say I'm disrespectful.
That's all I got. Oh man, I shouldn't talk trash though. I can't wheelie either.
I could wheelie. But every time you wheelie, there's always someone like, hey, stop that. You know, like,
Really?
shut the fuck up. I'm riding my bike, you know?
I be riding on my fix. Tell them niggas come get me. I be riding on my fix. If getting money was a sport, then you know
Dude,
I'm
so
playing.
this is what's happening
hard.
out here, bro.
I be grinding like some old brakes on the car. I got 100
And the
tattoos.
closest thing that comes to
Body-
this, to like, to the SF, this is the U-Lock mob stuff. So I think I made a video recently of one of their races. Fucking, you can see there's a whole grip of crit. There was a crit recently that we raced in. They had a Cranksgiving as well.
Yeah, they've been doing that
Yeah.
for a long time. There was nothing like that in San Francisco. I did the first one.
You did the first one, right? Yeah.
The first Cranksgiving. Not that, I mean, Cranksgiving's not a new idea. It happens all over the place. But San Francisco never had one, so I brought it to SF.
That's tight. See, and like,
We had the fucking like supermarket sweep or some shit. San Francisco, the Bicycle Coalition does something in San Francisco that messengers were going to, but it wasn't like a messenger event. So I made the Cranksgiving.
and this
which is a
this is
messenger
my
event.
camera too. I raced in this race. I got left
Damn, these fools
behind.
are all kitted out, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, no, they're like
Serious.
little hood track stars, you know. And Chris Too Active, I believe, organized most of this. But there's also, you know, LA, and it's just so hard to get out to places and meet because of how fucking far it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In SF, everyone could just meet up at one post or wherever, you know.
Yeah.
In the park, Golden Gate, whatever. Here, like,
You gotta travel like 80 miles to get somewhere.
for real. And everyone drives to the spot to meet up with their bikes on the fucking car rack, you know? It's not as simple as it was back in the day. Yeah, man. So that kind of sums it up, more or less. Everything that we've been up to. The life, the mess life, the bike industry, you know? And also, yesterday we were talking a lot about my industry and how that's also kind of being changed and how difficult it is for bike mechanics to find work and the trials and tribulations of being a bike mechanic, you know, and how the industry is changing with fucking all of these gig economy rental bikes and scooters, you know, and how that's affecting the bike shop, how fucking online sales are affecting like retail sales of bikes, you know, and like the bike shops are not happy right now, dude. Like there's like troubles, you know, and like even in SF where there were like something like 75 bike stores in the whole city, they're rapidly closing, you know. In SF, there's been in the last 2 years, I closed down the shop, Mojo Bicycle Cafe closed down, Fresh Air Bikes closed down, City and County closed down, American Cyclery closed one of their stores, is closing the second, Free Will Bikes closed another shop. Literally, like more than half of the stores have closed in SF. You know, and that's obviously an economic sign of like something's not right. You know, so all of this stuff, dude. And then they have organizations like besides the SFBMA, there's like the there's the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition, right? Which is like rich people who don't ride bikes.
It's been co-opted by Uber, actually. Basically, the Uber lobbyists run their whole board. Their whole deal is it's actually super crazy what's going on with the Bicycle Coalition because their board of directors is basically all paid Uber lobbyists. And basically their whole plan is they talk this game about, we want to get some protected bike lanes for the cyclists and commuters and things like that. We've been trying to get a bike messenger on the board of directors for the Bicycle Coalition for a long time, and they just keep denying and voting us out because the Uber is so powerful, right? But basically, what Uber is doing is they co-opted the Bicycle Coalition to create all these protected bike lanes, which are actually more dangerous for cyclists. But the reason that they do it is to cut out a lot of parking spaces, so then you have to take Uber. And that's their plan, right? That's the plan.
There's
it's not for cyclists.
Dude,
it's been co-opted by corporations.
Up, dude. It's fucked. And not only that, but even before they were co-opted by Uber, they were already a nasty organization, dude. They would go to bike shops and extort them, basically.
Yeah.
They would charge them money
to give discounts.
To give discounts. Like, why am I going to pay to give someone a discount? That's dumb.
Because all you get is your name on their website. It's like nobody goes to your fucking website.
And
dude.
every year they throw a swanky party called Winterfest.
And then they ask for your donations again.
And they ask me to donate more shit. And then I've been to those parties several times, hella swanky. Like, none of those fucking people ride bikes, you know what I mean? The only people that ride bikes there are bike shop people like myself or other bike shops that donated stuff, They get all this shit for free. They consider themselves a non-profit, but they have hella shit that looks profitable, you know what I mean? Like, they're doing weird stuff. Like, I don't know.
It's corrupt. It's hella corrupt.
It's corrupt. I never liked that organization.
Me neither.
So I'll just say out in the open that the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition is not something that people who ride bikes are too fond of.
No, dude, you go to the SFBMA. That's where real fucking boots on the ground cyclists hang out. Even people that are kitted out roadies come kick it with us. BMXers come kick it with us. You know,
none of those people have ever been to any of the bike shops. They don't ever ride their bike. Occasionally they're like weekend warriors, maybe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They just want to be. They're just political activists. Yeah. And they just chose one of the many coalitions there are to fucking do the thing that they do. Yeah. That's all it is. And they have high-paid jobs, dude. Like, if you look at their career availability, they have high-paying positions, dude. And it's like a little club, and like, Uber's in there. They want big money, dude. Mm-hmm. They wanted Skip Scooters to join them. They had an event together with Skip Scooters. Like, why are you promoting scooter rideshare? That's like not
anti-what bicyclists.
It's anti-cyclists. Yeah. Why are you promoting Ford Go bikes? That's like the worst thing you could have done. That's like a completely selling out all the parking spaces in San Francisco is just terrible.
It's the privatization of public resources where they go and they lock up all these ride shares to the active public bike racks. And then when you're a messenger and you roll up to the building and you got to deliver a package, you can't even lock up to the thing outside. Yeah. You got to go around the corner or down the block to go find an empty one that doesn't have a fucking jump bike attached to it.
Yeah, scooters all over the fucking sidewalks everywhere, Bikes left on all the racks, nothing ever available. Like, it's just fucking chaos, dude.
Yeah.
And no one's regulating none of this shit, and it's all part of this fucking bullshit gig economy shit.
It's just getting paid off, dude. Everybody's just getting paid off.
It's happening here in LA as well. There's major companies doing the exact same thing here, ruining whatever little bike industry was left. They're just fucking it up with all this fucking rents. People have come in and been like, hey, can I rent an e-bike? Like, yeah, it's going to be $50 a day. Oh, fuck that. I'd rather rent that Uber bike, with my credit card and get charged more. But really, I don't think it's more because it's by the hour.
Yeah, and you don't have to bring it back.
Yeah. Like, dude, it's bullshit, dude. And I've worked for all those companies. And I've talked about it many times with all my friends. I've been at Uber. I've been at Metro. I've been at all these companies just to see how they function. I know everything about B-Cycle. So if anyone comes at me and tells me, oh, bro, you're dumb, rideshare's the future, like, nah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I've been a mechanic for all those companies, I know exactly what their game plan is. They are all on the same identity politics, SJW stuff, dude. They hire people based on race, not on qualifications. Like, I could be the most expert bike mechanic, but they'll only hire me because I'm Hispanic. You know what I mean? They won't hire me for any other reason. Like, that's like a slap to my face, Like, I just don't like shit like that.
Yeah.
All this stuff is changing, dude. We have no idea what's gonna happen to the bike game, dude. Like, in terms of like me, who I'm an actual bike hustler. Since I was a baby, I've been selling bikes. Since I grew up where I did, me and my brother have always sold bikes and worked at bike shops, and we've had bike shops, and we've done this our whole lives. We love bikes, and it's getting difficult. You know what I mean? And this is something that is supposed to be promoted. We're saving people from not having to spend gas, Some people come to us for e-bikes. They go to work on their bikes and everything's better, Like we need support, in this industry. Mm-hmm. The bike messengers need support. They need to continue to function as a delivery service, you know. And who's fucking up the bike messenger game? All the same people.
It's the coalition, the bicycle coalition, the rideshare people.
The rideshare fuckers that are hiring people, paying them 1099s at the end of the year contracts. Like they're not even employees. They don't get a W-2, you know. They have to pay tax at the end of the year for working for these companies. And they deliver things for DoorDash, food, Uber Eats, all this shit.
Yeah.
And they're paying people chump change for all of that work, you know, when they can be working in a unionized environment where there's insurance, health benefits, where you have a W-2 and they get taxes at the end of the year and they get all their paper. They could be delivering stuff with a real job and they're not. They're getting 1099s at the end of the year. They're getting robbed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just like the people who drive for Uber or Lyft. It's the same thing if you work for DoorDash. They're just robbing people, dude. And they're fucking up all those industries. Imagine this, dude. The bike messenger game was dying out because of technology, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can send emails so you don't need to do paperwork like instantly. All these things, right? But what happened recently was the food delivery game opened up. And you if these companies, instead of hiring courier companies to do this work, they said, nah, fuck the courier companies. We're just going to pay people below minimum wage to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a few companies out there. I mean, there's Candlestick, there's Black Hole, there's Stella Courier, Underdog Courier. They still there's guys in SF that are like one-man show, 2, 3, 4, 5-man show that still do food delivery and like they do, you know, they're really small time folk, but yeah, they're just getting.
But look at the competition,
destroyed
dude.
by
They're getting
Caviar,
destroyed,
Uber,
dude.
stuff like that. Yeah.
And the
I mean, what
shops,
happened to TCB? TCB was the original before any of that shit hit the streets. TCB was the original food app delivery service, right?
Yeah.
And look what happened to them. They
got eaten up.
They got eaten up.
Yeah, see, this is a big fucking problem, dude. And people, this is another thing I've been noticing working at different bike shops. I've worked at several bike shops here in LA, and I noticed something very dramatic, very problematic, dude. No one is using cash or debit to pay for anything. Everyone is using credit cards.
Yeah.
Dude, for little transactions, inner tubes, fucking buying a light or a lock for your bike, they're using credit cards. To make major purchases for bikes, they're not paying cash or debit or money out of their account. They're applying for Synchrony, and we're putting people into debt to sell bikes that are expensive.
Yeah.
At every bike shop, this is happening. Synchrony financing has moved into the bike industry and has taken over. And they're making so much money from selling people expensive bikes they cannot afford on interest. You know what I mean?
Because interest rates are so low, man.
Yeah,
the Fed's talking about making interest rates in the negative.
This shit's going to blow up, dude.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's just going to blow up. You cannot live your life spending credit money, swiping everywhere, you know? And we are making money at the shop based off of people who have no money. They're spending money they don't have, and we're selling bikes, getting money from the banks, but the people haven't paid that shit off, you know? That's not sustainable. How long can we do that until...
You can't. It's completely unsustainable, and it's going to collapse.
It's going to collapse, dude. There's something terrible happening, dude, across all the industries. But
right now, we're kind of like they're, you know, the people that are in control of the economic, you know, sort of nebula, they want people to continue to borrow and continue to pump money into the economy because that's how we sustain ourselves. That's how we grow. But we can't continue to grow at that pace because we're just borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing with basically no intent to return. Like in America, the United States of America owes so much fucking money all over the planet. We own it. Like China owns a bunch of our debt. Other countries own a shitload of our debt. And we have no intention to pay that shit back. Trillions and trillions of dollars. We'll never pay it back.
I was telling Jen just the other day that they're almost like scamming us out of ownership. Like you don't actually physically own anything anymore. People don't want to buy a bike. They just want to use a fucking
lease it or whatever.
Jump bike and just like, or they want to pay it on credit and pay it off or whatever. They're not technically the owners of the bike yet. You know?
Yeah.
They want to just use an Uber jump bike to get to work and then just grab another one when they get off work. You know, like they don't want ownership. People don't want to drive a car. They just want to get Lyft and Uber everywhere, right? Yeah. People don't want to go and make food or go to the store to buy it. They just pay for it to be delivered, right? All of these things are taking away ownership,
and which is giving away your personal responsibility and your
power, dude. And even intellectual property. You know, like you go on the internet, you can't own anything anymore. People aren't buying music videos.
It's all just getting shared around or whatever.
And we got like cloud services, subscription-based services. There are more subscription-based services coming out every fucking day. Like now it's Disney Plus. You know, now it's like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. Like people are paying up fucking a grip of money for all these subscriptions. They don't actually own any of that content. They just enjoy it for a little while and then it goes away and that's it. You know, nothing is real. You know what I mean? No one has tangible property anymore.
Yeah.
No one owns anything. You look at everyone, they're living minimal lives, like with very little belongings. No one drives a car. People are leasing cars. Plenty of people at the bike shop come and they're like, oh, sorry, I can't put a bike rack on this because it's a lease or it's this or it's that. Like people don't own cars, you know? People don't own anything. They don't own houses. They don't own anything. That's fucking weird.
That's
you know what I
crazy.
mean? That's weird, dude. That's weird, dude. So that's why I'm saying like something weird is happening. If we don't do something about protecting ourselves soon, we're gonna end up in like some fucking terrible Great Depression kind of thing, you know. And I don't want the bike game to go out like that, you know. Like I'm gonna defend it somehow, you know. Whether it's continuing to do work, if all bike shops are closing, fuck it, I'll open another bike shop, you know. I don't care. Like I want a place for people to get together, you know. Maybe we'll talk about this off the podcast or whatever. Trying to create a plan for like a solution, you know, for all of this, all this movement that's not going in the direction that we see is good, you know. It's everything's moving to different places. We don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Everything's changing, dude. It's crazy. AI could be launched tomorrow, you know,
Yeah.
or we can get coronavirus like right now, you know. We don't know.
No one's in control, dude. Or at least I'm not in control. Shit. I ain't in control of anything.
This is crazy, dude. It's a good podcast, man. I really enjoyed talking to you, Taylor. Thanks for riding your bike from SF to LA and fucking joining us. And
Happy to be here.
good luck on your bike ride to San Diego. That should be dope. So we're gonna cheat a little bit and we'll take you some of the way down.
Yeah. Thank you. My knees. Thank you, dude. Honestly.
But fucking yeah. We'll catch up again at another time. And thanks everyone who's listening or who will listen later. It'll, you know, be uploaded to all the typical platform stuff that, you know, where we upload shit. So whatever. Yeah, thanks for chilling.